Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon. You can learn more at 1-800-633-9110.
Before your appointment, visit creoninfo.com. That's CREON info.com.
Hey, it's Nick Wilson for Kitchen Cabinets at Northeast Factory Direct. You're not just picking cabinets from a catalog, you're collaborating with actual designers who know what works. And the best part, their design expertise works for every project. From efficient 10x10 layouts to expansive custom kitchens. All wood construction, soft close drawers, contemporary styles, no shortcuts. Plus, they handle your entire remodel under one roof. Flooring, backsplash, and vanity tops. Visit any location or northeastfactorydirect.com for your free design consultation. Mention Nick Wilson for your extra special discount.
If you dread dealing with your insurance company more than you dread running out of buffalo chicken dip,
guess I should have made more.
at a Browns watch party you're hosting. And it's only the first quarter.
Crudité, anyone? Anybody?
Then you might have Insuranoia. And if you have Insuranoia, then you should get NJM. They go to great lengths to do what's best for their policyholders. NJM, official partner of the Cleveland Browns. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
I'm Kyle Wright. If you're dealing with an injury, you don't need a sales pitch. You need straight answers. If you've been seriously injured in a crash or hurt at work, call me and ask your questions. We'll explain your options, and your consultation is free. We handle injury cases across the state of Ohio. Make it right with me, Kyle Wright. Call 844-WIN-OHIO. That's 844-WIN-OHIO, or visit ohattorneys.com.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
From the 1-800-HURT-NOW Traffic Center. Hurt in a car? Call KNR.
Radio.com is now Odyssey.
Odyssey is your new home for all the audio that matters to you.
All the music.
All the sports.
All the news.
And all the podcasts.
AUDACY. Odyssey.
The Browns and Bills pretty much behaved themselves during their joint practice on Thursday. Let's see if drivers can behave themselves on this Friday morning heading towards downtown Cleveland. Jeff Thomas, Odyssey Cleveland Traffic.
Broadcasting from the 92.3 The Fan Studios, fueled by True North Convenience Stores. Bills, Browns.
Allen back to throw. Allen running away and sacked by Carson Swessinger. Fourth down.
Kickoff Saturday at 1. We're your home for complete Browns coverage all year long. WKRK-FM and HD1 Cleveland Heights.
1, 2, 3.
We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. An Odyssey Sports Station.
92.3 The Fan, 2020 Sports.
This 2020 Sports brought to you by Ohio Basement Authority, a groundworks company. Browns had their joint practice with the Buffalo Bills on Thursday in Berea. Pretty safe to say, Browns head coach Todd Monken enjoyed himself.
God, was that a lot of fun. Fun to compete against someone else. Their guys, our guys, got a lot of respect for the Bills. It got a little edgy, but not over the top. And that's exactly what you're looking for. Guys want to compete. Got a lot of pride in the way they perform. And I thought our guys, I can only speak to one side. Obviously, the field I was on, but it was awesome.
That wasn't entirely fun because defenseman Alex Wright suffered an injury to his lower left leg, had to be carted off the field. Browns yet to have an update on Wright as they're going to do a walkthrough today before tomorrow afternoon's preseason game at the stadium. Reports say the Cavaliers finally re-signing James Harden. New contract, word is it's a 3-year deal, $97 million. Contract includes a player option for 28-29. Took nearly 2 months for the Cavs to bring Harden back as they tried to get LeBron James. Didn't happen. And then the reportedly taking part in a big 5-team deal to get Peyton Watson from the Denver Nuggets. Guardians on Thursday beat the Giants 5-2. Gavin Williams, 5 2/3 innings, allowed 2 runs on 4, struck out 11. Guardians get the first series win in nearly a month and the first series win at home in nearly 2 months. Patrick Bailey had a pair of hits, including an RBI single. That capped off a 3-run rally in the first. Jose Ramirez, Steven Kwan, and Brian Rocchio also with RBI singles. Guardians outfielder Joe Adell out of the starting line for the second straight game on Thursday. However, Adell did get into the contest on Thursday first used as a pinch hitter, then as a DH, went 0 for 2. Adele dealing with a bruised left knee. Meanwhile, Chase DeLauder available on Thursday, but did not play for the third straight game. He's been dealing with a sore left hamstring. Can now find 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas. Up next now with the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima here on 92.3 The Fan.
The Afternoon Drive.
Deshaun Watson, I thought, looked nice. I actually think the reaction to Shador's performance was actually off what I saw, because I'll be honest with you, I think if we're talking about the quarterbacks on Saturday, we should be grading them on an absolute curve, because the offensive line stunk for both of them. Once you got to the second unit, you saw it with Deshaun, you certainly saw it with Shador, and I honestly feel bad for little fella Dylan Gabriel having to clean up that mess in the fourth quarter.
Deshaun did not flat out embarrass himself. I was surprised by that. Was he great? No. Did he push the ball down the field? Absolutely not. But if what they were trying to get was somebody that just didn't fall flat on their face, then mission accomplished.
The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
Holy is that fun to compete against someone else? Their guys, our guys, got a lot of respect for the Bills. It got a little edgy, but not over the top. And that's exactly what you're looking for. Guys want to compete, right? Got a lot of pride in the way they perform. And I thought our guys, I can only speak to one side. Obviously the field I was on, but it was awesome. And looked like we belonged. That's all we wanted to see, right? Do we belong? Because our first 11 give us a chance to move the ball and score. And I felt that way today.
Todd, you talked about things getting edgy but not going over the top. Is there like a sense of relief for you that you got all the work in without anything kind of erupting?
Yeah, but you only are on one field, right? I was just hoping if it erupted, it had been on my field. I didn't want to end up having to run all the way over there and then run all the way back. That's a credit to them and us. They talked, our guys talked, went right up to the line, and that's what it should be. That's what it should look like. If anybody wants to know what a joint practice should look like, I can't speak to the other side. That's what it ought to look like. Competing, we weren't on the ground a ton, every now and then. Guys talking, guys competing, and having restraint.
This is Cleveland's Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
Hell yeah. I'm going to get to that here in a second. Because we got all show to get to the Browns. And that's exciting. However, can't believe we're doing this, but it has to be done. Do I give credit to Ignatius? I want to give credit to Ignatius.
What a game.
Now, I have trolled them for a while, and it's only because of Cookie Pie. Because, we're friends with the Hoyers, and they're wonderful people. And obviously that is Ignatius royalty. And we're friends. We are. I consider Chuck Kyle a wonderful man. And I think that he's a great coach and a great man. And he's been on here before. And he's actually done a symposium with youth coaches in the borough before. I mean, that's how good a man he is. Let me give credit where it's due. Because this was mentioned in passing yesterday. And I went, oh, gosh, got a new coach there. You're going to start things off with Avon. Couldn't got one of them Washington, D.C. schools come into town or something like that. Like, no. And they took him to the hilt, Owen. To the hilt, Tone.
It was an incredible matchup. What a debut for Ignatius and their new coach at Brown Stadium.
And the reason you bring this up is Owen brought this up to my attention right when I got in this morning. There were 28,000 on their live stream.
Yeah, I watched the. So the only reason I even looked, I'm getting home right, and my freshman son went to the game. His buddy goes to Ignatius. So I'm like, well, he should be home in a little bit. So I go look it up. It's midway through the third, and there were 14,000 on the stream when I turned it on.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of the game, in which Avon ended up getting a 2-point with like 14 seconds left, going up by 1, winning the game, there were 28,000 people on the live stream of a high school kid production. But I mean, this was no high school production. They had the overhead cam, the angles on it were amazing.
That is great.
Absolutely amazing.
That is
I looked
great.
at some other streams too. They were just sideline views. This had everything, and it had high school kids on the call. Kid's name's Alex Carl. I thought he did an awesome job. I mean,
is he the best since Fana?
Yeah, probably. I can't say that because I haven't listened to any of them. I don't know.
Oh,
I remember when I was at broadcasting school, you'd hear old John Fana doing the calls of those Ignatius games, and I was like, "Who's this kid?" Voice obviously stood out to me then, and here Fana is all these years later. This kid, I thought he was awesome. I thought the game was awesome. I thought the Ignatius defense was awesome. Maybe he didn't get a couple calls late in the game.
What's it? Well, I'm going to discuss that here in a second. What's the kid's name again?
Alex Carl.
All right. Is he going to ask us to do the Sportscasters boot camp years from now and then give us weird directions on where to park on the entire other side and have me walking around sweating my ass off all over John Carroll?
By the way,
I'm kidding, John. We love you.
You wonder why. In all seriousness, it's awesome, especially for people in the community that can't get to games, that this stuff, OHSAA relaxed a lot of the old rules so that you could have the games. The flip side is attendance. People talk about, man, attendance isn't what it used to be. Well, yeah, because the games are available at home, and they're doing such a great job with them.
The Ignatius student section was in the dog pound side.
That's so much fun.
It looked rowdy.
It's awesome.
Obviously, they're back in the game, and it looked rowdy over there.
Good.
All right, Kenny, they have the Stones to go for 2.
Yeah.
They're at the end of the game.
Play to win the game. That's the beauty of playing big-time football.
Opener. I love that. Absolutely love it. Now, in the old days, with the brackets and everything the way they were, maybe you can't risk something like that. Right. But now you have a chance to get in.
Plus, you're playing it. Well, Avon's still D2, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm just making sure. You're playing a D1 school, and now it's early in the season. Like if Ignatius goes out, like, okay, what are you hoping for when you're taking over as a first-year coach at a place that hasn't had a lot of success over the last few years? 6-4, 5-5, somewhere in there. Oh, okay.
Before the year, they would say yes. We take that.
Yeah. So if you're 6-4, like if you end up 7-3 or something like that, say you end up like that, you're not going to get hammered for losing that game by 1 point. I know computer points or whatever. You're not going to get hammered in the grand scheme of things by losing by 1 point to a D1 school. So it was the right call by Elder to go for it. And then they went for it. It was a hell of a play by the quarterback. Yes, I saw the play.
Yeah, James Conrad, the linebacker, stud linebacker, comes in and blows up the play.
He's only a 3-star? You're going to have to bump that up one.
No kidding.
You're going to have to go.
He's wreaking havoc.
We got to go up
night.
One. After that.
All the guys at Stars.
It was a, it might have been a little bit of a hold. But you're not going to call
on
that.
The last play.
And it's got to be egregious. Like, he has to be fully tackled. And I know he fell over.
Their fans thought it was egregious.
I know, guys. I'm going to get some nasty email. I'm going to get a nasty text from a Hoyer or two, I'm sure. But, usually you're going to swallow your whistle, or at least, you're not going to blow that whistle.
Should we welcome in
not gonna do that.
Football fans? Because this is it. This is the first game that I think most people saw. You mentioned that down in Cincinnati, the grudge
Moeller
match that was down there.
To Princeton. Made the joke Jerry Faust ain't walking through that door. He passed away a few years ago.
Do we want to put out a poll on whether or not this is legit or not? Or is that going to ruffle too many feathers?
What's legit or not?
Whether or not there should have been a flag. It's our first controversy. It's our very first controversy of the season, and a game quite possibly was decided. Now, if they would have called it,
yeah, fine. What the hell?
We would have ran it back.
John won't know what to do.
They would just kick the extra point, or would they? Because did they have a kicker? Do they have a legitimate kicker that could kick the extra point if you marked it back?
You're going to have to do this because John don't know how to do it. He's from an area that they don't take high school football seriously like we do. So,
yeah, my high school football team was absolutely horrendous.
Oh, there you go, John, calling out his old high school. Been less than 10 years since you've been out of high school, right?
Yeah.
They still bad?
2020. It's been less than 8 years, I guess.
They still not good?
They were good before I got there, and then they moved up a division, and it's not exactly a football school.
Hard time, the daddy. Okay, well then, Lima, you put up the poll on yours if you want to. That's fine. Like if it was the third quarter or second quarter, you might call that, but I don't know if you're going to call that at the end of the game. I don't think you're going to do that. So, either way, congratulations on a hard-fought game to both teams, and the best of success wish to both teams. I can say that. There's a guy in the other room who can't because obviously he lives on the north side of Avon. Can't do that.
Nice to have football back,
Avon
though, is it not?
It's not the north side of Avon.
Well, yeah, but I know. I wanted to get you all upset over there. And he got hot and bothered.
Was it just not a thing of beauty? Football is back.
It was.
It's great.
It was the absolute little tease that we
It's
needed
great.
to football being back in and live in Cleveland.
And it was amazing. And furthermore, our pal Dustin Fox got to do Peyton Manning's kid's first game.
Yes!
A high school game.
Yes! Oh, my God. And then we get to sit there and be overzealous about Peyton Manning's son.
In Tennessee.
And everybody's going to go nuts. It's going to be great. How many kids does he have?
I don't know.
I wish they all would have had 12.
Dustin has 2.
Because
to
it's
keep
just
doing
the
this forever?
controversy is so much fun. The fights are so much fun. Like, I thought Arch Manning finished the season off extremely well. And that bowl game against Michigan, like, I saw that video, and I'm like, I'm getting tantalized over here. And immediately the truthers come out, and I go, man, this is fun. I wish all 3 brothers had a dozen of them. I wish, this is fantastic. All right. Anyway, I'm excited. Owen's excited. Lima's excited. He's got a game tonight. I got Friday Night Touchdown tonight. What are you on the sidelines?
I'll just be standing on the sidelines, man.
It's beautiful. Owen's like the mayor of Avon Lake.
I miss when you ran.
Are coming to town.
I miss when you ran the chains.
Chains are over, man.
You've given them up. You've handed them off to the next era.
That's an
generation.
exciting time to be over there because you're with the other team.
It's beautiful. It's so fun.
It's fun.
It's so much fun. All right, now on to the Browns.
No. Do that again.
Well, actually, you know what? You're right.
Do that again.
Now on to the Browns! Woo! Woo! Held our own! Held our own! Held our own! Held our own! Todd Monken excited. I was encouraged by how encouraged Todd Monken was, baby. The Monk Man cometh. Browns aren't messing around.
Holy is that fun to compete against someone else? Their guys, our guys got a lot of respect for the Bills, and it got a little edgy, but not over the top. And that's exactly what you're looking for. Guys want to compete, right? Got a lot of pride in the way they perform. And I thought our guys, I can only speak for one side, obviously the field I was on, but it was awesome. And commend the Bills and our guys for, like I said, taking it to the line, but not going over the line.
We're back. Spencer, Fano, Kenny.
Yep.
The praise that he was getting, KC Concepcion.
It's a man's game.
Hello.
It's a man's game. Played by men against a good team. And they held their own.
Taylor Green, red zone, weapon.
Oh, you know you're going to.
Weapon.
It's going to be a December to remember for Taylor Green, my friends. You ain't going anywhere, young man. You ain't going anywhere. You know what? Go ahead and buy. Call the young team, Taylor Green. You're home now, buddy boy. Yes. Yeah, defense is a little.
We don't have to talk about that.
Can I give you a little thing there? Well, no. You know what? No. This is a positive segment. We're doing positivity. I'll get a little critical. Actually, I got to come to a defense of somebody because they're ripping them for making the right decision, and that's coming up at 6:24. Okay. I was encouraged by how encouraged Todd Monken was because you can't just have guys roll over and die. That's the whole issue with this. Okay. Now I've said it before. I caught a little heat because I said we're not just a quarterback away. And some people go, what do you mean we're not? I go, hold on for a second before you freak out on me, for crying out loud. Listen to me here before you lose your mind. You're a quarterback away from being on the right track, but your depth doesn't help. So you're a quarterback away, but you're a couple of drafts away from competing. But you're on the way, if you get a quarterback, to being on the right track. Doesn't mean you're going to roll over and die the way that so many teams do it. And so to stand in there and hold your own, and we'll talk to Sal Capaccio of 550 WGR. He's the Bills reporter over there. Wonderful guy. We'll see what his opinion of everything was. But if you held your own, I'm down with it. And I think they did. And that's okay. And I'm happy to hear it, happy to see it, because we got to find some ball players. There's plenty of opportunities over here. There's diamonds in the rough. Away we go. Tone, your thoughts.
I thought it was a huge, because I'll be honest, I just assumed that we would be a laughingstock in this in this joint practice, not because we don't have good players or anything like that, just because it's the Bills. It's the fact that I know they have a new coach, but we have a new coach, new coaching staff, so many young players, and we've only been at this for how many weeks? I know we had mini camps and everything, but this has only been one preseason game. And what? I mean, it was 2 weeks ago you finished your install, a week and a half ago. So they had every reason to just get their butts kicked up and down the field in something like this, which, Kenny, famously, that has happened before.
Yeah.
With the joint practices, as this has become the norm in the NFL.
Against the Bills. I told you, they were talking trash to Jason Gibbs years ago.
Took a train there and got a...
They took a train there. Actually, I can't say the rest of that on the air.
I figured where you were
Can't
going
do
with
that. That was an old Browns team. Can't do that. No, sirree, Bob.
So the fact that they...
I mean, it's Friday, but
the fact that
that'll
they
be a
came
long
out
weekend.
there... And look, Monken is supposed to be... We do this for every offensive coach that gets hired in the NFL, and certainly with the Browns. But we need them to be miracle workers.
Uh-huh.
We just do. That's unfair to Todd Monken, but you know what?
Truth.
This was your shot, and you've got to be a miracle worker. And dare I say, by looking at not only the Cleveland reporters, but seeing what they were saying out of Buffalo, and national guys had descended upon Berea to check it out, Jeremy Fowler and others, and it was the consensus that the Browns' offense looked new and improved.
Yep.
Even with Deshaun Watson.
Ooh, strong sentiment.
Who did throw his patented Deshaun Watson
interception?
Yeah, he did.
That was there. Well, you can't have it all perfect. You got to struggle a little bit. Iron is going to sharpen the iron. You got to struggle a little bit because you can't go out there all cocky and thinking that things are going to go well. So you want to compete against the best. That's what you do. 216-474-0092. Todd was excited. I'm excited. I'm excited because Todd was excited. Coming up at 8:20, Dangerous Daryl Ryder going to join us on the show. Sal Capaccio is going to join us coming up at 7:22. He's the Bills reporter, 550 WGR. Nathan Zagura, 9:01 today, and yes, coming in hot at 9:40 today. And coming up in 5 minutes, look, if he's bad, he's bad, and I have no problem saying if he's bad, but I'm not going to make fun of him for making the right decisions. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app.
Now.
Want VIP treatment? Listen weekdays at 9 a.m., noon, and 5 p.m. to win exclusive VIP access, including reserved seating, free food, and a Dave & Buster's Power Card. Celebrate 15 years of fandom with us. Get all the details right now at 923thefan.com. Headline sports news every 20 minutes from the University Hospital's sports desk. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
I heard what C.J. Gardner-Johnson was saying about Shedeur Sanders, and I don't care for it. Did you hear?
I did.
Now, Daniel Yafusi had said that a player in the secondary was calling Shedeur the check-down king. Are we sure it is C.J. Gardner-Johnson? Because it's been widely reported that it was him. And it makes sense. C.J. Gardner-Johnson is one of the greatest bleep talkers of this generation. He is known to run his mouth a lot. So if it were him, I think anybody in the secondary. Hear me out on this, all right? Because this is going to go, oh, Ken's back to soft-ass Ken with Shedeur. And here, no, hold on here. Because there was something that was said on the afternoon show that I texted Owen, and Lima was so excited. Lima was so excited that I said what I said, because I go, we got to stop with this soft-ass excuse-making crap and conspiracy theory, and I already know that I'm going to lose my mind later. I don't want to do that now. Okay? But when C.J. Gardner-Johnson or anybody in the secondary is sitting there telling him, check down King, to me, I mean, if we're talking about Shedeur starting so far behind, you're doing check downs, what, am I going to rip you for making the right decision? If it ain't there, it ain't there. Take what the defense gives you. Because when I hear check down King, and yeah, like if you want to be a franchise quarterback, eventually you're going to have to put it on a defense. You got to keep them honest, and you got to be a threat. But when you're coming up in your NFL career and you're checking down, I'd rather you check down and get me 6 yards and make it 2nd and 4 instead of getting picked off and flipping the field and turning things over and giving us a problem because your ego makes you go big fly because you're hearing it from the other team. That's something that we can't subscribe. So I know that I saw the internet yesterday when I got home from football practice. I know a lot of people are making fun, and the AI images are coming out, which, boy, we're just going to bleed our water supply so we can put fake crowns on Shedeur Sanders so we can get our likes and retweets off, but whatever. We're all calling him check down king. Everybody's having fun, and I'm going, hey, man, he's just starting out. I know he's in his second year, but he's just starting out with this group. If he's checking down, I'm not going to sit there. I'm not going to make fun of him for checking down as a young guy.
Well, he also seems...
You're making the right decision, so now, I think it's silly.
Now, was it any different yesterday? Was like Shedeur afraid to make mistakes yesterday as opposed to practice where he's the one throwing the ball down the field more?
Well, no, he doesn't.
And in the preseason game, he threw the ball down the field.
He hasn't thrown nearly as many picks as Deshaun anyway in training camp.
Yeah, now I've had people explain that and said early on in practice he was afraid to kind of get rid of the football because of the tracker. Like that he didn't want to have the interceptions on
you got to be effing kidding me.
Well, this is what the trackers and the constant the fan bases that
if he's worried about the tracker, then just forget it.
Well,
Why are we even talking?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying there are people that think anytime that the interceptions are being used against one, the other's not going to want to throw interceptions, so they're going to hold the ball. But that hasn't been Shedeur. Shedeur has thrown the ball. So was it just yesterday? Was it a little bit different? Was it more yesterday he was more conservative?
No, hold on here. Why do we think Deshaun Watson's going to win the job? You're sipping coffee. I'll put you in a bad spot. Go ahead.
No, most of it was just that he, given his 10 years experience in the NFL, that he was going to be able to take the ball and run with it from a new head coach and all of that.
That's not really what I was asking
and
for.
Operationally.
That's the answer I wanted right there. Sorry for screaming into everybody's radio right there. That's the answer I wanted. Because you're trying to not play stupid football You're trying to be as smart as you can. It is a smart decision to not try to force passes with rookie wide receivers, with guys that you still don't have a great relationship with. I mean, as far as knowing where they're going to go and knowing what they like, and you can be told and things like that. You still don't know necessarily. So again, on 1st and 10, I'll take 2nd and 4 or 2nd and 6 even, instead of pick 6, 30 yards the other way. I'll take 2nd and 4 over terrible interception that our defense has to go right back out there after we've given up a touchdown drive. Like, that's what I will trade that off for. And eventually, you're going to have to take risks, take chances, but that comes with a relationship with your wide receivers. So if we're giving credit to Deshaun Watson for operations, getting them in and out of the huddle, knowing snap counts, being able to line guys up, et cetera, then I think I go back to Shedeur Sanders. Why would I rip him for being quote-unquote check down king?
No,
and also
you
consider the source of this, because it's also C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Again, he's a tremendous trash talker. And what's he going to do? He's going to try to bait a young quarterback into doing something silly. That's part of the game.
Now, the part that's missing, the missing information in all of this is we don't know what work they wanted to get in, right? Like, you're right. If it depends what part of the practice it was. Was it full 11-on-11 game simulation, or was it, hey, we're working at this part of the field and we're going to run this 5 times?
To me, it doesn't.
And then we don't know, did Todd Monken say, hey, let it fly. We got to let it fly. We want to test them, or we don't know that. I think that's kind of valuable information in a discussion like this.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm trying to help him practice smart decisions, because he throws a nice deep ball, and he's had a couple of nice deep passes and deep touchdowns.
Yeah,
but what did we say last year? Is that an offense?
No,
because they still had one of the worst. Was it the worst offense or one of the worst offenses in the NFL? One of the two. It's still really bad. That's not an offense. Putting the ball down the field 6, 8, 10 yards at a time, that's conducting an offense. I'm dead serious, guys. In a game scenario, give me 8 to 12 plays in a drive that end with a touchdown instead of a big play that just gets everybody going, because you know what that's going to do? That's going to protect my defense. Okay, that's going to keep a defense honest that I'm playing against, and it's going to protect my defense, help my defense out, that they cannot have to just get right back up after 3 downs and have to march back out there and try to win a game like they had to do all last year. So if we're checking down, quote unquote, then we're still keeping them honest to open up routes for Quinshon Judkins, for Dylan Sampson, running lanes for them. I'm still keeping things open for my tight end. I'm still keeping things open with my tight end, where if I'm chucking down, dumping off to my tight end, I'm eventually going to find some soft coverage there to be able to hit KC Concepcion, to be able to hit Denzel Boston. You know, we can't just sit here and play on egos. I know we're radio guys, so we're wild men, but I can't just sit there and buy into egotistical plays every single time. There has to be some rhythm and some rhyme here, something that makes sense. And there's plenty of things in this training camp that Shedeur Sanders has done wrong. Checking down and making the right decision is not one of them. So we can all have our online stuff going on, but I'm not going to. No, I'm not going to do that. I will go after him for something else later on today. And it's basically because of what I heard on Afternoon Drive that sent me right up the wall yesterday. But in this case, no. Why am I going to rip him for making a smart decision? When the whole point of why we're about 90+% sure that Deshaun Watson's going to win this job, and you and I are the only ones we're screaming in everybody's face going, the money's already spent. They're trying to build a new stadium, so why are they going to try to upset you? I mean, I have people calling in saying they're going to drive in from Timbuktu to Portland, Maine to Portland, Oregon to cuss this guy out on Saturday, but they want to play him to upset you. No, the reason he's going to get the job is operationally, okay? And eventually, Shedeur Sanders is going to get the job, and he'll probably play more than Deshaun Watson this year. I think we're an official show stance on that. And I want him to make the smart decision.
No, but we did say there was a lot riding on that joint practice yesterday that he was going to have to perform magnificently
and in
to
my
get a
eyes,
shot. Now, if he was just dumping the ball off, that probably wasn't going to be enough.
I understand that. But in my eyes, and probably in Todd Monken's eyes, it was better. Listen, I know you throw a good deep ball. That's not...
When he can get the spiral down. Yeah.
I disagree. You feel good about that? You feel good about that you got that off?
Yeah, when he gets it down, it's a great ball.
Now, what are you doing in there? Don't encourage this.
When he gets his hands on the laces the right way, I saw people were picking apart his form from some of the ducks that he was throwing earlier. Preseason game, he wasn't throwing ducks.
I'm just trying to make it
the ones that got past the line of scrimmage.
I'm just trying to make it through the season,
The
guys.
ones that didn't get batted down.
I'm just trying to make it. Are you going to say that you're going to have the same type of energy when we talk these college quarterbacks coming up here in a couple of weeks?
Course.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
We're going to put them under the microscope.
I just want to make sure you're going to be nasty to them too. So as I was saying,
I'm not the one who complained about him drifting. That was Munkin. Munkin was the one who complained, not me.
And he was right to do that. So
I
if he
looked like a
makes
pass to me.
If he's the whole,
I thought Munkin was being too hard on him.
Okay, for the love of God, take the gloves off for a second here. Do we think either of these quarterbacks are going to be here next year?
Taylor Green?
Do we think either Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders are going to be here next year?
I mean, that touchdown to Tylan Wallace.
Do you
Holy
think that
cow, in the
Deshaun
corner,
Watson
just
or
came in
Shedeur Sanders
cold,
are going to be
boom,
here?
Touchdown might be my quarterback.
F it, I don't care.
Taylor Green. Do you
Forget
want to? Do you want to right now? I mean, put your money where your mouth is. Taylor Green, future Browns quarterback.
Future? Like if you mean he's going to play in December, I'm with you. But I'm not saying future. I mean, he's a nice young man. I love him, but.
Owen said week 18.
He could be. I told him to buy. You call the young team. You'll be here in December.
Might we see him sooner?
Why not? Can I get to my point here?
Are the Shedeur fans going to be okay when
not going to let me.
He is in there or Watson's in there and they get yanked off the field in the red zone so Taylor Green can come in and dazzle? Are they going to be mad like they were last year?
Well, 21647.
Because that guy looks like a red zone weapon extraordinaire.
If I can just say this real quick, and then we'll hit the break, is that you don't think either of these QBs are going to be here next year. You want to take your pot shots and play your duck hunt clips and have all that for you, that's fine. I'm trying to be a serious football man here for a second, even though I'm starting to smile because of the clips that are being played.
Looks like we're out of time, Kenny.
I'm getting this off when we come back. I'm telling you right now. I'm going to get this off my chest. And also, Lima has something to get off his chest about a Hall of Famer, for crying out loud. I cannot believe the reactions I was seeing to this yesterday. About a Hall of Famer that is decided to stay here and finish his career in Cleveland. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, Sal Capaccio from WGR 550. Bills reporter there. He was at practice yesterday. Want to see an outsider's perspective on this Browns football team. That's coming up at 7:20 on The Fan. Extend Technologies in Broadview Heights. I was
an additional $500 off your project. Call 877-98-PELA or visit PELACleveland.com.
Some issues for folks on the west side this morning. 71 northbound. The right lane is currently blocked just beyond the turnpike because of an accident. Jeff Thomas, Odyssey Cleveland traffic.
This is Browns head coach Todd Monken, and you're listening to the #1 sports station in Cleveland, 92.3 The Fan. Do you like to turn it over in the red zone? No. Do you like to miss an open touchdown? No. But we got a lot of good work going against someone different looks, right? So that was really good. The one thing I would say, maybe it was just me, it didn't look like we were out of place. It looked like we belonged. That's all we wanted to see, right? Do we belong? I mean, does our first 11 give us a chance to move the ball and score? And I felt that way today.
That's Todd Monken yesterday, obviously. You know that voice. Wild man, Todd Monken, excellent stuff. John had asked, I'm going to do this quick, and I want to ask you about a Hall of Famer here because people are going after you for talking about a Hall of Famer coming back to Cleveland and spending the rest of his career here. And I think I agree with you, but I disagree with you on one thing, your sarcasm when it comes to Shedeur Sanders on this case, in this case. The whole check down king, quote unquote stuff. And talking about, well, it's a 7-on-7, doesn't matter, all this stuff. You know, John had asked a question last week to us. You know, John sends topics when he feels like it. And he had asked, let me make sure I get this right. If Watson wins the job and he struggles and Shedeur comes in and does well, do the Browns look foolish? Is what I've written there, because that's what John had asked. And I said, you know, that's a good thing, because I could say, well, all depends on what we find out at the end of the season. But if Shedeur were to not start the year and look good, like yesterday was one of those reasons why. I'm not asking you. You know, you said yesterday was a big day for him. He had to really show off his stuff. They know he can throw a deep ball. Everybody in the world knows he can. Everybody in the world knows that he could be accurate when he was at Colorado, and he could be accurate here even in Cleveland. I make your jokes about the Ducks and all the other things, and plenty of them have. I want to see him be operational. It's a low bar. I understand that. We all want to be impressed by big, long passes that the camera zooms in and slows down, NFL film style. That's all great up in the stands. That's not what Todd Monken's looking for. You're an NFL quarterback. I assume you're wearing an NFL jersey. I assume. You said it yourself, Anthony. It's 2026. They all can make all the throws. That doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah, we saw Taylon Green.
They make all the throws.
Yeah,
they can. So did Brandon Whedon. And what happened when you asked Brandon Whedon to be operational? He sucked. Sucked out loud. It's terrible. Didn't know where guys were. Oh, my God, he throws an out route. Yeah, so can every other quarterback in the NFL.
Didn't we love Johnny Manziel's arm talent, Kenny?
Oh, great. Put him at the Stark County Fair. Didn't we love Johnny Manziel? Okay, maybe you can beat him in a drinking contest. Like, that's not operational. That's my whole thing about it. Is like we are not seeing the forest for the trees here. Whoever wins the job doesn't mean the end of hope. If Watson wins the job, I think it means the end of excuses for Shedeur, and I'll bring up more of that at 8 o'clock, because, again, I did hear something yesterday I just couldn't believe was so separated from reality. It's not the end of hope. It is another test for him going, are you going to do what's necessary to be the starter when called upon? Because you will, because they're not good. Or are we going to go and have problems and you're just going to go south and it's the Browns' fault and everybody else's fault? Are we going to do that? Like, that is a test of him. And that's the issue. Are you going to be able to answer that test? And him being able to just take what's given, check the ball down, is actually, to me, a passing of that test. I'm not asking for much, guys. We're talking about an also-ran, a guy who never was with us, and then another guy who, at the end of all this, you know what the NFL thinks of him, and it ain't much. Bring up whatever conspiracy theories you want to bring up, whatever YouTube videos that you can wrap your arms around and make yourselves feel better about. You know damn well what the rest of the league thinks of them. And so your job, if you're Shedeur, is to prove yourself day by day by doing it right. I don't need some parlor trick. I need a guy who can play the game and play it the smart way. Because you know what? The more he eliminates turnovers by playing smart football, not just holding onto the ball and being afraid to throw the football, which I don't think he did that yesterday.
Yeah, Key said it was 7-on-7, though. Does that matter to you?
No,
if
it doesn't.
7-on-7?
No, because if it's the right read, it's the right read. And so if he's able to do it, then he'll have his chance at it.
Our guys,
and
our
he'll
guys
be better
can
off for
our
it.
guys can win 7-on-7, right? Our wide receivers.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, they're really good. Excuse me. They have a lot of potential. I mean, I don't know if they're really, really good yet because they're 2 rookies. The other guy, and who knows it. Just depends on what side of the bed he wakes up on, I guess. I have no idea. 216-474-0092. All right, you got into it yesterday about a Hall of Famer. Please tell us about this.
Yeah, the news came out. We got the numbers on James Harden, who had been patient throughout the whole process to try to help the Cavs first get LeBron at a certain number and maybe other players, and then eventually it led to them getting Peyton Watson in that deal. And it's 3 years, $97 million, and people were really nervous about giving a third year. By the way, I was really nervous about giving James Harden a third year. But this is the price of doing business with somebody that was, a huge additive to your team.
Well, once you lost LeBron, he had the cards here.
Yeah,
really.
But you know what? He still got in at an annual salary that helped you get a legitimate wing that people seem very excited about, that the Denver Nuggets were really upset about losing. So this is key. The 3 years, $97 million, average annual salary is going to be, essentially in the 31, 32 per year, which if you're wondering where that puts him, I mean, that's around Tyler Hero. He was better than Tyler Hero last year. DeJounte Murray, he was better than DeJounte Murray. Emmanuel Quickley was injured last year. Jalen Suggs in the playoffs.
Emmanuel with an eye.
So, yeah, that's his range. He outperformed all of that big time. I know people will only remember the turnovers, and he went very cold as the playoffs wore on. But he also, got us past Detroit, was huge in taking down the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. He had big moments, obviously, against Toronto to get them ahead in that series. So he outperformed that. By every metric you can imagine. They have him playing at around $50 million. That was where he actually played. If you look at all the advanced numbers and just my eyes, I saw him, as a huge, part of getting your team past a point they couldn't get past with Darius Garland.
It's odd because we just agree with each other so much on this. So I tend to lay out and I tend to just turn it into an agreement fest because I supported the trade. I still support the trade. It was weird that I went from having fights every day about saying that the team was better with Darius Garland. This is way before the trade. And then immediately they get James Harden and, we needed Darius Garland. This is the dumbest thing ever. It's like, where were you guys 6 months ago? I don't understand this, other than they traded for a guy that most of us didn't watch his games, and so we just paid attention to all the
remember,
headlines.
Once they traded for James Harden, they finished the year on basically a high 50s, low 60 win pace, and all their offensive numbers skyrocketed. They're just streamlining that offense. And don't forget, Darius Garland was supposed to make $42 million this year, $44 million next year. James is better than him. Now, in that third year, if you want to tell me, but that's sports. We always overpay at the end of contracts. That's just a part of doing business. If you're telling me that we should have just let him walk, well, you have no cap space, so you just would have been a worse team. So that was not an option ever. And I think you guys should give credit. All the haters of James Harden should give him credit for being patient and working with the Cavs so that they could sign other players, and they did.
The bet is made. You have to move forward on this. You have to, and I don't think it's a sunk cost either. Eventually, he'll hit 40 years old.
He'll be a bad contract at the end,
and
that's 100% of players in sports.
But
they're all bad contracts at the end.
You still had to do what you had to do to still be a competitive team, because we did this on the emerging podcast scene, which you can find on 923thefan.com, brought to you by Extend Technologies. I still think you're a top 3 team in the East, and I think it's a much more competitive East than what it was last year. Also, all Cavs conversations brought to you by the fine folks at Surfside Hard Iced Tea, who ask you to please enjoy that Surfside Hard Iced Tea responsibly. Just over an hour from now, Daryl Ryder going to join us on the show. Sal Capaccio, Bills reporter, WGR 550. I want an outsider's perspective on the Cleveland Browns at 7:20, and in 5 minutes, it is fair, as least as any quarterback competition in the NFL could be anyway. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app.
RBI single that capped off a 3-run rally in the bottom of the first. Get all the latest Browns content filtered right to your phone during the preseason by following the Browns playlist and 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
All the Browns and NFL news you may have missed at work. The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. 92.3 The Fan.
All right, you want to start a fight? Let's start a fight. I don't know if we're starting a fight.
What's the fight about? Our football team held their own.
That's true. You know what? Positive. You know what? That's a good thing. Todd Monken was excited. That's right. I mean, you sit there. I got all year to get negative. Let's look at what it was yesterday. You took on a good football team, and your head coach was excited. Now we'll hear from Sal Capaccio coming up at 7:20. Hopefully, it'll stay positive. But Todd Monken's excited. He was excited that they competed. I'm excited because Todd Monken was excited. I don't know how good the season's going to be, but at least you went out there and you competed against a good football team. Yes, hit it, please.
God, was that a lot of fun. Holy was that fun to compete against someone else. Their guys, our guys, got a lot of respect for the Bills. And it got a little edgy, but not over the top. And that's exactly what you're looking for. Guys want to compete, right? Got a lot of pride in the way they perform. And I thought our guys, I can only speak to one side, obviously the field I was on, but it was awesome. And commend the Bills and our guys for, like I said, taking it to the line, but not going over the line.
Now, before we get to fairness, is there any concern with how the defense did against the Bills' offense? Because I do have a theory about that, which might be an excuse to some people, but I'm still going to give it. Go ahead.
I think it's really a good sign. We've seen
it's a good sign.
Well, we just overall,
there was a bit of a struggle.
No, I'm talking about overall. I want to say it's a good sign that you're hanging with them now. As far as the fact that our defense already razor thin and Alex Wright going down, like you've seen how many defensive linemen we've already brought in, ghosts from yesteryear, Jannard Avery, Jadeveon Clowney. Who was the last one?
The Alex Wright injury is scary.
Zadarius Smith.
The Alex Wright injury is scary to say the least.
Obviously, all of that stuff
fun.
does make me really nervous because there's only so much that Denzel Ward can do. And by the way, we are going so overboard on all of this stuff, and I could be just as guilty of this. But seeing 3 videos of Jared Verse not being able to get past that big left tackle of theirs. That's
Deion Dawkins, correct?
Yeah, guys, that's not the end of the world. I think we need to settle down here. Let's wait till we've actually seen him in real games and in the playoffs wreck shop. He has had monstrous playoff performances. So I think we need to.
Well, we keep saying he's not Myles Garrett. He's not Myles Garrett.
We need to slow down a little bit on that. I saw that and I'm like, okay, I know we like to have fun with a throw here or there with a quarterback. I think we can ease up. On going after Jared Verse.
Can I share a theory here about the defense? And is it your contention as well that you believe that they've been a little bit frustrated or not? Frustrated a little bit. They've done it a little bit tight throughout this preseason. It's gotten a little chippy.
They can't even get real work in.
Well,
at times.
But that's my point of it. I think there's been some frustration there because you have a defense that. The guys that are on that defense, and I think Jared Verse knows going in, like, okay, you're going to have to get something figured out offensively here. And that means that if you're going to win a football game, it's going to take more defense. And so if you have this defense here, and you're going up against this offense that at times has been a tragedy within camp, having to end practice early, 11 minutes left to go on clocks. I mean, just so many things that have made Todd Monken very frustrated, and he's admitted that. And I think that's why he was so encouraged to say, it's like, okay, you're going up against a good football team. Now, I know their defense hasn't been known to be the very, very greatest in the history over the last couple of years because they've had to switch out some guys. I mean, they've had some unfortunate injuries, and they've had to switch out some things on the roster as things have gone on. They're kind of going through it themselves over the last couple of years. But the reason I bring this up is that you've had a frustrating offense in training camp. You were only able to go against the twos of the Chicago Bears, so it's not Caleb Williams out there. And then you're sitting there, if you're on the defense, you're thinking, when are we got to get a look. We got to get going. Because yesterday, I think there probably were some guys walking off the field defensively going, this is what we've been talking about. We got to get a good look. You have to be, the word of the day is operational. You got to be operational over there so we can get ready ourselves to get ready to take on guys like Josh Allen. I mean, I know their schedule ain't that great, but you're still going to face some good quarterbacks out there. Maybe not Josh Allen good, but I got to get a look so I can get ready for the season. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, I don't think is God's gift to the position. I mean, they called him generational. I didn't think it then, and I don't think it now. But he's still certainly a high-functioning quarterback. Not Josh Allen, but he still can put it on you. So you got to get ready for the season. And Jared Verse and Denzel Ward and Carson Schlesinger and guys who have been around even long, Quincy Williams, they know that. They know that. So you're going to be frustrated in the course of the preseason. But there's been a lot of conversation about fairness. And I got something to go ripping on coming up at 8 o'clock that I heard, and I'm not very thrilled about it. But, there's been a lot of conversation about fairness. I really do. I think that Todd Monken's handled this well. I hope that people heard Jason Lloyd on with Nick and Jonathan yesterday, where Jason had said that hey, Todd Monken's going to make this decision, which we've been telling everybody. I know that a lot of people just want to wrap themselves around the theory about Jimmy Haslam making the decision, but nope, he hired him for a reason, so Todd Monken's going to make the call.
I think the coach has 100% call on this. And I do think Deshaun has outplayed Shedeur. The way that they are seeing it is Deshaun has been better. Deshaun had the lead coming in because of his experience. I mean, he hasn't run away with it by any means, but I think in their minds that he has performed better throughout camp. It's his job, at least to start the year. I don't think that there's interference from above. I have wondered that at times over the years with this team, and I no longer believe that. I believe the head coach has final say on the depth chart on the quarterbacks.
It's hard for me to get really frustrated with fans who believe this because, again, they've had a track record with it before. So you get blamed right on you. It takes a while to get that stink off you if you've made these decisions before. But I think that this has been as fair a competition as fair is going to be in the NFL. I don't think very much anything is fair in the NFL. I mean, you got the politics that get involved with it. Yes, owners do get involved. We've talked about that. They've been involved here. You have coaches that they bring in their pet cats and they have their preconceived notions of people, because they're tasked with winning football games and as many as possible as soon as they possibly can. And so they have an idea. I think he's been as fair as he possibly can be, knowing what we were texted the day he was hired, that he wanted to work with Deshaun Watson.
The one.
And I
the one
think that this has been as fair as possible over these last many months, because I think that he's given Shedeur Sanders opportunity to show if he can be in an operation that's functional within the offense. So it's never going to be 100%, everything is the same on each. But it is going to be as fair. I think it's been as fair a quarterback competition as you're going to find in all of the NFL this year. Do you disagree? You disagree? If you disagree, let me have it.
It's not that. First of all, how many competitions are there even, taking place now that the?
Well, you had the Minnesota competition. Did you
one.
think that was a very fair competition? It seems like they are done with it. It seems the only person who liked J.J. McCarthy in the state of Minnesota was Kwesi.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. But I think he had his shot. He had to be. You would say on paper you didn't think he'd have to be that good because Watson, is Deshaun Watson at this stage of his career. But I just don't think Shedeur crushed it the way that he would have needed to. And look, it's not easy to do. He only had 7 games last year. New head coach, new terminology, all that stuff to try to learn, vastly different from anything in college that he was able to excel at. That was not going to always be the easiest thing in the world.
What I think, though, that I maybe I should be clear. I do think he started in second place, but I think they've given him opportunities to pass, and it hasn't got there yet. And it's not like it's not never going to get there. I think he'll have his opportunity during the regular season, but I think next week they're going to announce Deshaun the starter.
Yeah, that probably on Sunday or Monday, and that's the part of this that I think you gotta at least try to be open to if you were Shedeur or nothing. If you're such a Shedeur fan and you don't even care about the Browns, if it's anybody but Shedeur. I understand that allegiance. Just be patient. He's going to get his opportunity. It's not the end of the world. Now, once he gets that opportunity, boy, does he have a limited time frame to make the most of it. He's not going to get 3 years like Josh Allen did. You know, I've seen a lot of people say, wait, the Bills were patient with Josh Allen. Well, we all have to understand what reality is. And unfortunately for Shedeur, he's not going to have 3 years to try to figure it out, right? He's going to get this year, and that is it. To be a starting quarterback, etched in stone, you've got that job going into the following year. Like, he's not going to be afforded what so many quarterbacks have been afforded. But even now, I mean, today's NFL, even guys now have less time than they've ever had. You know, as we saw with Sam Darnold, as we saw with a lot of Josh Rosen was like one and done. Like, you don't get the time that you used to get. But he's got to make the most of it once he gets that opportunity. So he's just got to stay ready. And judging by the past of Deshaun Watson and all the evidence we have, Shedeur is going to get the shot this year. And he's just got to be ready to go.
Coming up in about last night at 7:45, one of the more bizarre headlines I think I've ever read about the Cleveland Browns. And think about the history that takes in. Sal Capaccio going to join us next. He's the Bills reporter, WGR 550. We want an outsider's perspective on this joint practice, on how the Browns did, and even on how the Bills did. And any comparisons with Josh Allen would be absolutely lovely. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on that free Odyssey app. We're
efforts, including an RBI single that capped a 3-run rally in the bottom of the first. Jose Ramirez, Steven Kwan, and Brian Rocchio also with RBI singles. Can now find 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Get the best content from our shows each and every weekday. That's 92.3 The Fan on YouTube. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
We're a little too close to the situation. We need an outsider's perspective. Especially because there's a lot of people going, the national media is way more positive about the Browns than the local. I go, I don't know. Did you read what Dan Graziano wrote yesterday? Did we see what Stu Gotz's poll was? If you think that Todd Monken should win Coach of the Year if they get to 7-10, that means that you believe that he's worked a miracle. That's not a good thing to be said. If you think that was positive, that's a pretty backhanded positivity thing there that's given to you. That ain't good stuff. Let's go to Sal Capaccio because he's a respectful outsider, and we respect him. He's the Bills reporter, WGR 550. He joins us right now on the Wise Heart Right, We Make It Right, Call Kyle Right hotline. I'm going to stop talking like this right now. Hello, Sal.
I appreciate you coming on this morning. How much of an outsider? It was only 3 hours from door to door here. We're pretty close to you guys.
It's an entire
I'm
world
an
away.
Yeah. No, good to be on with you guys. A really, really great day yesterday. I thought both teams got a lot of great work in. I've been a part of these things for maybe 4 of them now with the Bills, 5 of them. And I thought yesterday both teams very professional, very good work, not a lot of the nonsense. It was good out there.
So you did think that the Browns look good, or how do you think that the Browns look overall? Do you think it's going to be a long season? What is your – I know it's one practice. You'll have a preseason game tomorrow, but still, what's your thoughts?
Well, let me tell you going into it, just kind of listening to everybody, reading people, talking to Daryl, everybody. I expected the Bills' offense, which looked great on Saturday. I mean, really, both sides of the ball looked really good in their first preseason game, but I expected the Bills' offense to struggle a little more than they had in their own practices because the Browns' defense had been looking really good. But the question was that because they were playing against the Browns' offense and the quarterbacks? And then I expected the Bills' defense to kind of, look really good against the Browns offense. It was a bit more of the opposite, to be quite honest with you. I thought the Bills offense really owned the day. Of the 4 units, I thought they were the best unit on the field. I mean, tight ends just were uncovered. The Browns were, they had several busted coverages. It was tough for them they got around Josh Allen a few times. He scrambled out. The Bills running game looked really good. On the other side of the ball, I thought the Browns offense did a pretty nice job against the Bills defense overall. Both teams won some plays. They won some reps. I was impressed when the Browns got the ball in their hands. They were able to do some nice things, whether that was receivers or running backs. They were creating space. I like that. The Bills did get to the quarterback a couple of different times. Here's where I think the biggest difference lies, though. Every time it seemed like the Browns were on offense, whether it was Shadur Sanders or Deshaun Watson, when things got sped up, when things got chaotic, that's when they broke down. When you watch the Buffalo Bills play and you go to practices and you go to games, obviously, and you watch them, Josh Allen thrives in chaos. He's great at it. And, when you're never worried about things breaking down, Josh's going to find a way to kind of make the play happen. And then the pre-snap stuff, too, that just comes with the operation and being a veteran and those kinds of things. But that's where I think the Browns really didn't do a good enough job. 2-minute drill, I mean, they didn't finish the job a couple of times where they were down when they were getting close. Red zone, they got close at the very end. And, I mean, I think they had 3 cracks inside the 5-yard line once they moved the ball down there. They started the 2-minute drill with a penalty. But that's where I think the biggest difference lies.
Well, that's very interesting to hear, Sal, as obviously our fans just want to know quarterback. It was nice to see the receivers flashing. Casey Concepcion seems like just a speedster. I mean, people are afraid to say it, but Tyreek Hill, let's get crazy. I know that's very early and it's tough expectation on a young wide receiver, but what did you think overall, if you were to compare the quarterbacks, how would you differentiate Shedeur and Deshaun?
The only real difference was I felt that when Deshaun had an opportunity to kind of figure things out in the pocket and had time, he made a couple of better reads, a couple smarter plays. Both guys threw some nice passes. I think the one to KC was from Deshaun, I believe. Those were a really nice play. There was down the field. Casey Concepcion. And I agree with you, by the way. Kids from Rochester, a lot of people wanted the Bills to draft him. I talked to him afterwards. He thought if he got to the Bills, they might draft him. But that's a nice draft pick, I think, for the Browns. And that's a really nice player to have as they, go through this whole thing and trying to figure out their quarterbacks. And maybe it's going to be a young quarterback paired with a young receiver. I thought that Shedeur Sanders had some nice moments, made some nice throws. But I think he, again, when things got a little chaotic, when things got sped up a little bit, that's when I thought that he panicked maybe a couple of times. The throws weren't where they were supposed to be. I thought Deshaun was a little bit better. It's hard to practice setting to watch everything, as you know, and you don't know all the time, who's running the right route or anything like that. We all go through that when we watch practice, no matter what team we cover. I would have given yesterday's edge a little bit to Deshaun Watson. I don't think it was that big of a gap. I thought they both had some nice moments. That's the only thing that I would be concerned about is, hey, when things go get a little critical, a little chaotic, you got to have a little better calmness and play from your quarterback.
Sal Capaccio joining us, WGR 550 up in Buffalo. Who would you start week 1 at quarterback if you were in charge of the Browns?
If it was even really kind of close to even, I would go with Shedeur Sanders. And the reason is, what are you doing if it's even? Why would you not go with a young guy to let him grow? Then you get to, because if you go with Deshaun Watson, you get to week 8, week 9. If you're not winning games, you've just wasted half a season on developing a young quarterback. Now, I know we have Josh Allen in Buffalo, but I went through this. We all went through this. You guys have been through it for longer now than Buffalo was. And you had Baker Mayfield for a hot minute, but for, 17 years of no playoffs and quarterback after quarterback and J.P. Lossman and Trent Edwards and E.J. Manuel and Tyrod Taylor, whoever it was, that we've seen this in Buffalo, and I think the better option is if you have a young guy, even if he's not quite ready, you got to play him. You got to put him on the field unless the other option is just that much better and he's going to win games. Of course you do it that way. That's why I would go Shedeur Sanders if that's the case.
I want Shedeur to win the job. Why would Todd Monken pick Deshaun Watson then?
The only reason I would think there's 2 reasons. One of them is I think that a lot of coaches would, especially maybe a veteran coach like he is, I know he's a first-year head coach, they would more err towards a veteran, a guy that they feel a little bit more comfortable with in situations where he's been there, he's done that. I want to give my other guys out the room, right? The locker room. I want those guys to know that I'm going with a guy that has seen things before, and maybe that calms everything down and they feel a little better about it. The other part of this, which I don't know this part about the organization, would there be pressure on him to play him because of the contract, right? Like, we've seen that in organizations. That's just how the reality of how the NFL works. It's how sports work. You have people who maybe should be making the decisions about who's playing who aren't making those decisions because someone else says, hey, we're paying that guy a lot of money. And, if the other guy isn't that much better, you're playing him. And I don't know where that would stand with the Browns.
Curious, one of the big matchups we were looking at yesterday, Jared Verse, Deion Dawkins, the 5-time Pro Bowler. What did you make of that? Was Verse able to create any pressure? Were you able to see? I know we're coming off of Myles Garrett, so it's going to be tough for Jared to compare a play-by-play basis, but was anything there that you noticed?
I was more focused on Deion, and I would think, and here's the reason, I would say that, last on Saturday, I didn't think Deion had his best preseason game, and he had a good year last year, but not by his standards the year he wanted to have, and I thought he did a pretty good job against Verse. So I thought Deion was good in that situation. However, 2 things about Jared Verse. Number one, there was a play where he put some nice pressure on, and Josh had to scramble. It's always tough in those situations because Josh is so good at, just making things happen and scrambling out of the pocket in those situations. So, you can't really judge. In a practice setting, he would have sacked him, but I thought Jared had a nice pressure in one of those. The other thing is, holy cow, Jared Verse just brings the energy, guys. I mean, he's on the field the whole time. He's like the Browns version of T.J. Gardner-Johnson, who we're just getting to know for the first time in Buffalo, where it doesn't matter where he is. He's on the field, and that he's going to be doing and saying anything he can to get his teammates going.
Did you hear C.J. Gardner-Johnson calling Shedeur Sanders the check-down king?
I did not hear that. I heard about it. I did not hear that. It wouldn't surprise me, so I can't confirm or deny he said it, but I will just say that C.J. Gardner-Johnson is a different cat, man. He really is. And there are a lot of people who believe that the Bills would have never signed C.J. Gardner-Johnson if Sean McDermott was still the head coach because he just didn't bring in certain types of personalities. The Bills have intentionally brought in different types of personalities, guys with edges. you guys know, because it's not far away, and you have a lot of Ohio State fans here, Davis and Igbinosun. People thought maybe the Bills overdrafted him a little bit, but the one thing that's always said about him is he's such a dog. He's so competitive. Like, that's who the Bills kind of concentrated on this year, to bring in guys like that. And C.J. Gardner-Johnson is that guy. I mean, he is not afraid to tell you what he thinks about anything, and I wouldn't be surprised if he said that.
I on a side note, I did have to ask you because, oddly enough, off the field, more was brought up over the last few weeks about the Buffalo Bills' new stadium, and we are getting a new stadium. Did you think that the talk of the obstructed views and the scoreboard, the minimal scoreboard, did you think people got a little too carried away with all of that stuff?
I did. I do think that if anyone has an issue, it should be resolved, and that shouldn't happen. I mean, that's just, if you buy something and you're not getting what you thought, it depends on if you went into your stadium experience and you were given a virtual look and it's not the same, then that's something that should be addressed. There's no doubt about it. Here's what I think happened in Buffalo and is happening, and I think you should prepare yourself for this in Cleveland in a few years, which is these PSL prices are so high. There are a lot of people that are upset. They can't go to the games anymore. It's always been a bit of contention from the beginning because of all this. So there's a lot of people just waiting to tell you something negative. There's a lot of people waiting to kind of bash either the team or the stadium. And I think a few people who do have legitimate gripes, there's no doubt, brought those up. And then I think a few other people, and it just kind of became viral. We live in this world where people were looking for things to complain about, and it became something it shouldn't have been. Now, that said, again, you got a complaint, take it to the Bills. They should definitely address it. I think, and I've been in the stadium every step of the way. I mean, we had media tours when it was a hole in the ground and there were no seats in it. I think it's unbelievably beautiful. I think 95 to 99% of the people who are going into that stadium are going to tell you the same thing. It's incredible. It's one of the nicest buildings we could ever have in Western New York. We have the Bills now here for generations to come, which is great. The scoreboards were intentionally built a little smaller. We were told this because they are actually very vivid. That's one of the things. Instead of making them as big as possible, let's make them where they're really, cool to look at. And they're still big. They're just smaller than what you see at some of these other stadiums. So yes, I do think some people carried it away. I think the internet carried it away, but I think there's just a segment of the fan base that's mad and they're looking for things to talk about. Now, the big thing is now the grass, and the players even are like, well, it's not necessarily where we want it, and that's become an issue right now. It's better than turf. It's still not as good as you want it, but I'm not a grass expert, so I don't know how long it takes for that to kind of, get to where it needs to be for people to feel comfortable.
Sal Capaccio joining us on the show. My last one, Joe Brady, new head coach. Is there a honeymoon period? Is there even a chance for a honeymoon period, or is there skepticism with the fan base? Because, there's a lot of people, Todd Monken is a completely different personality than Kevin Stefanski, and a lot of people have been excited about Todd Monken. For you, I mean, your team's expected to win a Super Bowl. They've fallen short, and then you bring in Joe Brady or you bump up Joe Brady, I should say, instead of looking around and finding somebody else to replace Sean McDermott.
There's no honeymoon. This might be it, the preseason. That's it. And I think the Bills last week, they made it really intentional on their part to go out there and have a good showing in that first game again in a new stadium, because Joe is a new head coach and they do have a lot of expectations. They want to start off on the right foot. But guys, I mean, he is not replacing a coach that won 5 games. He's replacing a coach that won, 4 consecutive division titles until last year, got the team to the AFC Championship game a couple of times, had a lot of success in Sean McDermott. And the reason is because the Bills want them to get to the next level. So that's what he's got to do. There's no honeymoon in that. The only way that, Joe Brady falls short and people are, kind of okay with it, I guess I'd say in a way, is if there's some sort of a lot of injuries on the team or Josh Allen and they say, look, this guy was dealt a pretty tough hand. I heard so many times when Joe Brady was hired, well, only 2 first-year head coaches, I think it is, have ever gone to a Super Bowl. And I'm like, well, yeah, because first-year head coaches generally take over bad football teams. This guy's taken over a Super Bowl contender. They are the co-favorites in the AFC to go to the Super Bowl. So I don't think there's a honeymoon. I like what I've seen from Joe Brady so far. I think he's answered a lot of the critics and questions about his relationship with players and how he deals with things. Is he too friendly? I think I like what I see from discipline, messaging, all that kind of stuff. But it won't matter until you start winning games, and he needs to win games, and he needs to take this team at least up until where they have been already under Sean McDermott.
Sal, thank you very much for the time. All the best to you and yours, and have a fun season, my friend.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Sal Capaccio, Bills reporter, WGR 550 on the Wise Heart Right. We make it right. Call Kyle Wright hotline. We have our Browns beat reporter, Darryl Ryder. He's going to join us at 8:20 this morning, coming up in 5 minutes. Are we paying attention to this guy just to see what we missed out on? I'll tell you who, coming up in about last night on The Fan. Peter & Company Jewelers in Avon Lake. Do not miss out on them. Get on over there to
give their thoughts on what you might have missed about last night.
Hey, John, real quick, can we discuss something as a show real quick?
Sure.
To do it after the show.
Do we encourage or discourage Lima from looking up houses of people?
Well, you discussed.
I would just like anyone that has any prominence in the city to know that Anthony Lima knows where you live.
Looked up your house.
He's seen how many bathrooms you have.
Yes.
He knows your garage size.
He does, but it's not even prominent citizens.
Well,
somebody gets
anybody
arrested.
that might have $1 in their pocket.
Somebody gets arrested, and if they have a last name or they come from some area that's known for affluence, he's going to look it up.
If you're getting into a bar fight, I'm finding you, and I know where you live.
Okay.
Hey, that's Lorain County, man. That's different.
Little
Got
much.
a different auditor out there.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm in McMansionville. I go, we got a show to do, Tone. Damn it.
Anyway,
so
go
should
ahead,
we encourage it or discourage it? Because it is pretty interesting when he does it.
It is fun when he goes, you see this house in Pepper Pike?
I just think it's not good for his mental health.
Well, I can't tell him to stop everything. Like, he was making those stupid AI charts
I
forever.
almost lived in Chagrin Falls once.
It's either this or it's Chartville, USA. What do you want, Kenny?
I'd rather have this. Fine. No more Chartville. Hit it.
Beautiful.
Just when you count them out, they pull you back in. The Guardians defeated the San Francisco Giants 5-2 to win their first home series post All-Star break. Gavin Williams has been outstanding. He had another game with double-digit strikeouts. That's 6 of his last 8 starts, 14.5 Ks per 9 in that stretch. And the Guards got their work in early, scoring 3 runs in the first inning to set the tone for the rest of the way. 8 of 9's Guardians starters picked up a hit, and Joe Adell, although he did not get a hit, he pinch hit for Travis
Which was
Bazzana.
big. We were nervous about the future.
It was nice to
the
see him pinch
short-term
hit.
future.
Thinking about the short-term future, here is what Stephen Vogt said postgame.
Yeah, so Joe and Chase were both available today, so they're feeling good, and we're hoping that if everything goes well in the flight, and that's also a possibility, but we're hoping they're both in there tomorrow.
Like if the flight makes it, is that what he's saying? He was worried about the future of the flight? If all goes well?
It doesn't matter. Chase DeLauder is okay. That's all that matters right there.
Also, Guardians now just 1 game back of the wild card.
Can't call him dead. They ain't dead.
We were wondering if their season was over just a couple days ago, and now they are back in.
Like Freddie in the Boondocks. He ain't dead.
The Browns tight end Daquan Wright has entered the transfer portal. What? That's what Daniel Oyefusi reported. How is that allowed to happen? Well, a Louisiana State court judge granted a temporary restraining order against the NCAA eligibility rule and giving a lot of players another year of eligibility that were in NFL camps. This is ridiculous. I can't believe this is happening. This is the same thing that happened in college basketball a little while back. Like that, this is absurd that this is allowed to happen. You're going to have some college players that are 17 years old that reclassed up a year, and they're going to be going against guys in camp.
Yeah, it's
that
dumb.
have NFL snaps.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
I've heard all the big voices, including one from the national network that we play here on the radio, going after the NCAA. And
it's easy. It's easy anymore.
I just don't understand. How is it an NCAA thing? No matter what rules they establish in the NCAA, if somebody gets a judge to file a restraining order and this stuff has to get litigated out, like what fault of the NCAA, which has had this drastic change, which you guys all wanted. The fans all wanted the NCAA to get broken up. The fans all wanted the NCAA to have very different rules than they had in the past, where they were oppressive against student athletes in terms of wages, even though they were getting all these other perks. Okay, well, this is what you're going to get. And until we get settled law on this, and eventually the Supreme Court's going to have to weigh in, well, this is what's going to happen.
Isn't that sad?
It is going to be the
though?
Wild, Wild West.
Isn't that sad that the Supreme
I blame Dan
Court,
Wetzel.
The Supreme Court has to weigh in on college football. Like that's not supposed to happen.
Supreme Court's been weighing in on college sports for well over 100 years, and they'll continue to.
I like when they put out their Supreme Court polls every year.
Yes, I was so done with the AP and the coaches.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg thinks.
I was thinking I want to know more what Clarence Thomas was thinking there. I want the 5 for 5, and that's it. I want it in fast food, and I want it in my college football.
Bring it back to Arby's and bring it to college football.
Exactly. But that we used to be proper here. We had the 5 for 5. We had it in college football and in Arby's.
Still waiting for that relegation thing. I want relegation to come to college football.
Okay, that is a. Did we discuss that idea? I
think we did a little bit.
That is a great idea to me. Like if you're at the bottom half of the Big Ten, and like you're the bottom third of the Big Ten, because eventually the Big Ten's going to get like 24 teams.
Yeah,
All
go
right.
play for something else.
You're the bottom third? Guess where you're going? Welcome to Maction. Welcome to Tuesday nights at 6:30 p.m. with Lima on the call. I'm kidding, Tone. I'm kidding.
You're not wrong.
Good.
I'll take the paycheck.
Joe Burrow.
So will the Mac.
Joe Burrow has showed his frustration with the Bengals over the years just because they haven't really done much since they went to the Super Bowl. He had some interesting words to say yesterday in a press conference.
I'm trying to put it out into the world. I'm trying to manifest it. I'm trying to show our guys the urgency that I have and that I want us to have as an organization to go and make it happen. You can keep pushing it down the road, or you can talk about it now and say, this is the year. I'm tired of saying next year, next year, next year. This is it. Your life is too short to keep pushing things down the road, and I'm trying to instill some urgency and some intensity in everybody to go and be great every day and try to go make it happen.
Joe Burrow, in 1 year's time, you will be a Los Angeles Ram.
All right, so this is my issue with it. I saw Dan Orlovsky, I saw what Pony said, and others are taking it as he's giving the team an ultimatum. He's giving the organization an ultimatum. They go to the Super Bowl this year or he's gone. And if that were to be the case, which I don't know if that's necessarily true, I think he's desperate to win. I know this. Can I admit this first? I would not say this if he were in Cleveland and this was a Cleveland situation, because I'd be so damn desperate to hold on to the talent to win. I know how I am. But since I'm an outsider in this situation, I could say the truth, how I actually think and not how I feel. I got to put a lot of this back on Joe Burrow. You're the one who got hurt. You're the one who got the contract. You're the one who got your wide receivers paid. They've done everything they can for you. This is not Andrew Luck's situation where they did not address your offensive line. They drafted boobery. They drafted stupidly. They did stupid decisions, made stupid decisions in the front office and with the staff. This is not Andrew Luck's situation. All right, you're the one who's been banged up, but they've done everything they can to support you down there. And you got to hold up your end of the bargain. Now, you can't stop yourself from getting hurt, but that's part of the availability issue here. So he's a great quarterback, but if he's trying to talk tough, you got to look in the mirror as well. I say that knowing that if this were in Cleveland, I would not say any of that. I'd be freaking out right now, shaking in my boots, terrified.
Yeah, I do wonder... after the Miles threatening to leave and then eventually getting his way a year later, when quarterbacks, we've always wondered when quarterbacks were really going to do this, in a big way. And I know Matt Stafford changed teams, but how do you think we'll ever get to an NBA situation with these quarterbacks where they're just like, hey, I know you can franchise tag me. I just don't want to be here.
Yeah,
I just don't want to be here. You don't want a player that's running your team.
Sorry, did we not do this with Deshaun Watson? This was Deshaun Watson.
That was an interesting situation because they didn't want him there either anymore. I mean, they were leaking out every report they could, even if they could suppress his value.
If they thought, if they thought that he was going to come back and play for them, do you think they would have done any of that? I don't. I do not think that at all.
It's interesting because of all the allegations of the owner. And the stuff that the owner put out against Deshaun Watson.
I know that. And the things that the Texans may have covered up at that time, but they're just America's darlings down there, aren't they? Anyway, I think that this is, you mentioned NBA. I don't think it gets more NBA than Deshaun Watson. But either way, we're going to see this more and more. But I also have to say, what did we do? Just like we do for NBA players, like, hey, we hired your dad, we hired your buddy as coach, we traded for your friends, and I think the same situation could be said for a lot of these QBs. Sorry, Owen.
Well, you said they've done everything for him, right? That was your statement.
I believe so, for the most part.
Do you think providing a defense is or isn't part of everything?
It's not like they haven't taken swings at it, but when you
think providing a competent offensive line is or isn't everything?
Actually, their offensive line has gotten better over the last couple of years. Now they took a swing.
30 seconds.
They took a swing at Jonah Williams. Hold on, they took a swing at Jonah Williams and it didn't work out. He was hurt. They took a swing at Jackson Carman, and I could have told you years ago, which apparently we are related. I had no idea how, but that's been said. When you give your quarterback and you pay both those wide receivers to stay, you wanted them there, you got them there. Everybody wanted your head coach fired. You have personally vouched for your head coach. So they've done what they've done. It's hard to sign a lot of guys defensively when we're paying your wide receivers, which you can pay one. It's hard to pay all of them. And Did they or did they not go out for Dexter Lawrence? They have Dexter Lawrence on their team now. So they're going after it this year. So if at the end of the year they end up as an 8-9 football team and they're on the outside looking in and we're complaining and moaning and all this other stuff and he didn't play in 5 games again, I'm sorry, sir. You got to look yourself in the mirror here. Like, you are part of the problem. Is that it for about last night?
That's it for about last night.
You're not part of the problem, Owen. You're part of the solution. I'm talking about Joe Burrow. Darryl Ryder joins us at 8:22 this morning. Nathan Zagura, also not part of the problem, part of the solution. He joins us at 9:01. You have your chance to win the VIP experience for Fan 15. That coming up at 9 a.m. You must be hanging on our every word, or you shall be lost, because in 5 minutes, if Shedeur had no real shot, that's his fault and no one else's. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app.
92.3 The Fan contest page.
Broadcast.
Opportunities at every turn, the splitting the joint practice, him having the actual practice that matters this week. It does kind of feel like the Browns already made up their mind one way or another. They just needed to make sure Deshaun wouldn't fall flat on his face.
And I think if that performance is why they're, have a different pep in their step, they're not going to beat the allegations that this thing was rigged.
The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Well, what we had to do to even it is, when it was 10-7, is how do we make sure that Deshaun and Shedeur got, say it was, with the 2-minute and everything else, let's say they got about 30 reps apiece, where Dylan would get like 15, and where we'd get Talon, say, about 6 or 7. That's what we were kind of thinking. So that means they had to get with some of the twos. No, it's not easy. I'll send you with the twos, but otherwise, I'd rather have the reps and live with the disruption.
Held our own against the Buffalo Bills, buddy boy. We chanted it in the first segment, and you can hear that with the rewind feature on the free Odyssey app. It's powered by Integrated Restoration, local experts in water, fire, and storm disaster restoration. The dangerous one, Daryl Ryder, coming up at 8:20 this morning. Your chance to win the VIP experience to the Fan 15 coming up at 9. Nathan Zgura at 9:01. You have your chance to call in, coming in hot. Please keep your comments within the boundaries of good taste. We went from 2 weeks ago, one of the worst coming in hots we've ever had, to the point where anytime we have a bad coming in hot, Lima goes, should we keep it going? I go, you're the one who does it when I'm not here. And then we had one of the best coming in hots.
Great bounce back.
It was a tremendous bounce back. And so I leave it up to everybody else. You've had a week. Let's see if we can make it 2 great weeks in a row with coming in hot.
A lot of people got in last week.
My dad was laughing at the guy who called in and said, you could have just used me as the pitcher's mound. Which I don't like. I'm like, Dad, you don't like this. You get bothered by some of the things that people say. Don't listen to the segment. He goes, I got to listen. Okay. And he liked the guy who said you could just use me as the mound. So whoever made it, because, we use this as a a bathroom stall situation where you go in the middle one and there's holes on each side. Mm-hmm. That's how we like to do coming in hot. I don't want to know. This is supposed to be anonymous. Whoever you are out there, you did good work. Daryl coming up in less than 20. If Shedeur had no real shot, it's his fault, no one else's. And people need to accept that. Here's Jonathan Peterlin and Nick Wilson yesterday, 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland.
You feel like it's been fair?
I need a better definition of the word fair. Do I feel like Shedeur Sanders ever had a real shot at that? That answer is no. Do I feel like Haslam and the front office wanted it to be Deshaun Watson? That answer is yes. Do I feel like Todd Monken, probably the idea that he got hired was with the idea that when they answered and had all those questionnaires of like, hey, what do you think about this guy? What do you think about this guy? He probably answered the part about Deshaun Watson with, yeah, I think I can get something out of him. Yeah, I do. Now, do I think that Shedeur could have done better to maybe insert himself in this a little bit stronger? Sure. That's obviously there on the table. But yeah, I think it was always going to get to this spot with Deshaun Watson starting week 1. And that's why none of this has come as a surprise. The only surprise out of this is that they've kept the charade going as long as they have right now.
I think it is fair to say Todd Monken wanted Deshaun to start this whole time. I also think Deshaun had a pretty relatively low bar to clear. Just look functional in a singular preseason game, and you're going to be the face of the franchise again, little buckaroo. I also don't think the competition has been unfair. Like, I think if Shedeur had come out and whatever part of cadence or operation, if he had been able to muster that, I think he would be the starting quarterback right now.
You, me, and Jason Lloyd are never going to be able to convince people that it's not Jimmy who wants Deshaun Watson to start, are we? It's never going to happen.
No, people have made up their mind.
Okay. I'm just making sure. I mean, you agree with me on the whole, like, we're trying to sell a stadium here in PSLs, and they're not going to want to play a guy that people called in yesterday and said they're going to drive and spend their money and park and go through all the rigmarole to go to the stadium to boo him in the third quarter.
Yeah, that's what ownership wants. They
all
can't
right,
wait.
I'm just making sure because they spent $40 million even though they're going to spend over $2 billion.
And knowing that opener, that'll be even though it won't be nationally televised, Deshaun Watson comes out there. It is going to be some commentaries nationally, maybe even pregame, and it's going to be, hey, do we remember what he's been accused of? Like, that's going to happen again, and that's what they think in the afternoon. That's what ownership wants.
And none of us have faith that he's going to be able to turn it back on again. It's been 6 years. So I don't think he's clinging to anything, but either way, all right? So I'll keep bringing it up, even though I've given up on actually convincing. So I heard that from Jonathan and Nick yesterday, and listen, I've been a little bit critical. I think that they've had some interviews, and there's been some chances where they might have taken some answers and turned them into answers they wanted to hear. And my thought to that was, no, I don't know anybody except for Deshaun Watson and maybe some teammates who are really jazzed up about him starting the season because I think they're going to make that decision. But for all the reasons that we specify all the time, I mean, who are people more excited about? Who are people more excited to talk about? Who are people more excited to have fights over?
I don't know. Maybe yesterday it's Taylor Green now.
Well, maybe. Okay, but let's leave it to these two, the guys who actually have a chance to start. You go into this situation. You have a massive fan base. People buy your jersey. It's not always been peaches and cream. Some of it has been absolutely toxic. But it ain't been anywhere near as bad as the other guy. You had an off season. You're the one who was healthy. You're the one who got to work. You're the one who's been here. I know Deshaun has been here too. This is the one off season he has. But you're the one who had a relationship, who had all of it. Like, guys, you can claim conspiracy. You can do anything you need to do to try to make yourself feel better, but you know the truth when you go to bed at night. This has been as fair as possible, and Shedeur Sanders had every chance to take this job. Yes, I do believe that there are such a thing as preconceived notions, but I think they wanted him to take the job, and if he hasn't taken the job yet, it's on him. You're a professional football player. If you can't do it, it's the same thing they say. Well, why ain't I doing this? Why ain't I doing that? Why can't I get this? Why can't I get that? I don't know. Look at yourself in the mirror. You're a player that coaches don't want. Be a player that coaches want. Be a player that coaches want to coach. Not saying that Shedeur ain't one of those guys. I'm just using examples of people who are upset about guys not being able to play, themselves not being able to play. And when it comes to Shedeur, there are so many more positive conversations about him, media-wise, NFL-wise, all the other things. There's so many more positive conversations about him than have ever been in his time in Cleveland about Deshaun Watson. The fan base, I'm willing to say 90% wanted Shedeur Sanders to take this job, and the other 10% don't think either of them are very good and are just ready to move on to 2027. Maybe 1% really wanted Deshaun Watson to take the job. I'll give you 1%. It's there. And also, you'll probably end up playing the majority of the season because I don't know anybody who has a lot of faith that Deshaun Watson's going to be able to turn it on. But you didn't win the job, or it looks like you're not going to win the job. It isn't settled yet, but it looks like you're not going to win the job. We looked at Stefanski. We called it boobery. We called it politics. We called it a lot of different things. Can't blame it on Kevin anymore. You got a new coach, fresh perspective, different offense, all those things. It can't all be a conspiracy. It can't all be everybody's conspiring against him. Can't be that. You had your chance. If you don't seize that opportunity, you might need a little bit more seasoning, like a lot of guys who were drafted day 3.
Now, the famous example is 2012, the Seattle Seahawks. They had incumbent quarterback Tavares Jackson. They had signed Matt Flynn in free agency, and then they drafted somebody in the 3rd round in Russell Wilson, which I think even at the time, there were people that thought even Russ was maybe overdrafted just because they couldn't get over his size. And
I know that ex-wife of his was excited.
Right, so he ends up coming into camp, and guys, he was undeniable. It was undeniable. There was no, hey, we invested in this free agent quarterback, and Tavares Jackson was here. No, it didn't matter because he was undeniable. And the reality is Shedeur has not been undeniable, and that's what you have to be able to seize hold. And actually, I don't even think he had to be undeniable. He just had to be really good. And he hasn't been really good. So short of all those other things, he's battling it out with a quarterback we all think is probably going to get replaced fairly early on in the season. He's still going to get an opportunity. I ask this all the time. For all the, quote, sabotage, which Shedeur's camp puts out that term all the time. They feel like he was sabotaged last year. Then they said, well, we're not saying sabotage this year. And now they're saying sabotaged again, whether it's Jerry Jeudy dropping balls or
So how many coaches
whatever.
do we have to go through before he's no longer sabotaged?
Well, that's what I mean. And now he got 7 games last year. He's going to get more games this year. That's a dream come true for a 5th round.
For any guy drafted D3 or day 3, yes.
That's a dream come true.
Yes.
You should thank your lucky stars. You should say, we have been blessed beyond belief to have this opportunity. But because in their head, Mel Kiper once said he was the top quarterback on the board, they are going to cling to that forever as if it was the birthright for Shedeur Sanders to get drafted at the top of the 1st round. Never mind the fact that every report that's ever come out was he sabotaged himself. Him and his camp sabotaged himself in the draft process. They only wanted to go certain places. They couldn't answer certain questions. He turned people off that came and talked to him. That is a reality because he fell to the 5th round. That's how I know it's a reality. And now he's got to try to make up for that missed, squandered opportunity. And he's trying. I'm not even going to say he's failed to do it because I think they're going to put the football in his hands eventually. And he's going to get a chance to do
he'll
it.
get the ball. I think he'll be able to start in September.
And he's going to have an offensive line newly rebuilt. And by then, by the way, it looked good yesterday. That hopefully will have gelled by then. He might even actually have a running game to go. And now he's got weapons. Guys, Shedeur has not been wronged. He's been blessed. That's the term you should be looking for. Everybody hasn't been sabotaged. He's been blessed. And he's going to be blessed with the opportunity because he's in Cleveland and nowhere else to actually get a chance to quarterback for the Browns. This would not have happened in almost 30 other cities in the NFL. It's happening in Cleveland. You should thank your lucky stars.
216-474-0092. Do you think Daryl agrees with you?
Yes, I do.
Because this is an organization that has played a player before.
Because he has a brain. He should agree with you.
Because that's Daryl. They're not playing Daryl. If we're going to blame it on organization and even ownership, this is a team that has played a player before because the fans wanted to see him over a guy who was doing better. That's that track record. If we wanted to say we're getting involved, I just gave you every other reason why you would just play Shedeur Sanders. Everybody in the world, every other reason why you would just play Shedeur Sanders. It can't just be because of $40 million this year. That's nothing to them. If he's not ready, he's not ready. And we need to accept the reality of that if he's not ready. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, Daryl Ryder, 5 away on the Fan.
and 92.3 The Fan on the Odyssey app. Headline sports news every 20 minutes right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
I'm so over this quarterback competition. I wouldn't start any of these guys.
The dangerous one, Daryl Ryder. Who's he brought to you by, Owen?
Shibe & Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Let's bring him on. It's Friday. Hello, Daryl.
Hello, boys.
You still feel that way?
I'm so over any of these radio shows.
Come on, Daryl. Ain't that bad, is it?
God, I wish Josh Allen was a Cleveland Brown.
Oh, you were
stop
gushing
it. You didn't say
yesterday.
it. Did you say that back in the day? Did you yell about that back in the day?
No, he struggled for
Best
3 years,
quarterback
Daryl.
those fields in Brea, Ohio have ever seen.
Oh, I'll see you. No, that's not true. Bernie Kosar was out there on those fields in Brea, Ohio. You stop it right now.
I don't think Bernie was. I don't.
He went in Brea?
Yeah.
No, he had to be in Brea. He might have been Lakeland, but they were in Brea for a time while Bernie. They've been in Brea for a long time.
That location.
All right, Daryl, I'm not here to argue about when Burry did or did not play. You can text him. I can text him. We'll just ask him. Anyway, beside the point. Did you call for Josh Allen to be drafted by the Browns?
I don't remember. Probably not.
Yeah, you would.
Convenient.
No, then that's a no. Because every person who wanted Josh Allen drafted by the Cleveland Browns, you can't shut him up. It's the same thing as finding a vegetarian in a group of 500 people. It's a guy who can't shut up about being a vegetarian. It's the same thing about people who wanted Josh Allen. Which, by the way,
nobody would have been patient enough to let Josh Allen turn into Josh Allen.
Well, so I guess we can't do anything.
His coach in college, who is a Browns fan, anytime he does one of them 3 touchdown things, like, oh, okay. Oh, Ken, how did that work out? I know, man. I know. Anywho,
unfortunately, John Dorsey didn't want to draft Josh Allen, and that was the only opinion that mattered.
It's true. Yeah, I mean, John was a good guy, and he's still a good guy, but had a couple of mistakes. I mean, Chad Thomas in the 3rd round. Yeah. Lord. He basically drafted DJ Khaled in the 3rd round. I mean, that was ridiculous. Anyway, all right, Daryl. So Lima and I have kind of had it out today. Not with each other. I think some folks are trying to well, it's not fair. Well, it's not we're trying to find ways to make ourselves feel better. I would feel a lot better if Shedeur Sanders were the starter. I think we've made that abundantly clear over the last 8 months.
You and me both.
But I'm just ready to accept the truth, and I think the truth is that Sunday or Monday, Deshaun Watson is going to be named the starter for the 2026 season. But I don't think that that's a finite amount. I don't think that that's for the entire season. Your thoughts?
No, I don't think Deshaun Watson, if he starts week 1, will be starting the season finale. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to be him. I would be shocked at this point if it's not Deshaun. I don't really see the upside in that. I don't get it, don't understand it, but that's what the Browns are probably going to do. Todd Monken's going to lean into the veteran and the experience that Watson has over a young up-and-comer learning on the job kid in Shedeur Sanders. And, we're just going to have to suffer our way through however many weeks he can survive as the starter until they do turn this thing over to Shedeur Sanders. And, maybe there's a conversation to be had that this could be beneficial for Shedeur, gives him more time to continue to prepare and grow and get better so that when he does take the field the next time as the starting quarterback of the Browns, that he'll be an even better quarterback. But, yeah, it feels like you're staring at the iceberg and you can't turn the ship away fast enough and you're going to hit the thing dead on.
Now, we had on earlier in the show, Daryl, Sal Capaccio, who is your cohort, at a different place, a different city, but he came in here yesterday and he said some really positive things about the Browns offense. And he thought quarterbacks, not a huge difference between them, but he thought Watson looked a little better.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I did a segment with Sal for our YouTube channel yesterday as well, and we discussed that. There were a lot of positives to take away from that joint practice, setting the quarterback situation aside. Obviously the Browns are woefully deficient in that category, but you look at the supporting cast around the quarterback. Dylan Sampson was electric yesterday. I mean, he really could be running back one. You get him into space, and he is a problem. Casey Concepcion was electric yesterday. Denzel Boston catches everything that's thrown to him. So there's a lot to like. Spencer Fano, I thought, had a good practice yesterday. The offensive line looked probably the best it's looked here during training camp yesterday. So there's a lot to like about yesterday's practice instead of just sitting and dwelling on the quarterbacks and woe is the situation the Browns find themselves in and put themselves in. This football team, the young core, should have Browns fans feeling pretty good.
Daryl, Jackson McCurry on social media just sent me a video from the Cleveland 95 documentary, and it looks like Bernie's doing a handoff from Berea.
In Berea? Okay.
Hey, at least they're listening.
Listen, it's almost 40. Listen, I can't remember what I did yesterday, let alone what happened 40 years ago.
I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, Daryl, so I thought the offense, they did some good things yesterday. It was a little bit relieving. The defense, though, do you think it might? This is me trying to come up with a theory here. Go with me on this. Do you think that that's maybe been why the defense has been a little chippy? Because, they kind of got, and Josh Allen's a really good quarterback, but they kind of got a put on him yesterday. And I think, well, you go back, the offense struggled so much. Jared Verse got chippy. Guys in the secondary got chippy. And I wonder if they were thinking this whole time, like, we are not getting a look. We are professionals here. We need to get a look. You didn't get one against Chicago. We got a season that we're getting ready for in just a couple of weeks. Like, we got to get moving. And then you go out and you're going against Josh Allen, one of the best in the business. And it's like, well, we weren't ready for this because we're not getting a quarterback and we're not getting offense that's really sustainable going up against us in practice every day.
Well, and I mean, that's was one of the questions I had going into that joint practice, Ken, was this defense that good in practice because they've had the upper hand in practice against the Browns offense, or is the offense that bad? And I kind of think we got our answer yesterday. The offense just isn't there yet for the Browns. They've got the skill guys, but they don't have the quarterback. They don't have a quarterback that can take advantage of a busted coverage. It's and I posted this yesterday and people tried to ratio me over it because it was a busted coverage. Yeah. Well, guess what? I don't see Browns quarterbacks throwing footballs like that. Like I saw Josh Allen throw yesterday, plain and simple. Like it was nice seeing a legitimate NFL quarterback, albeit for one time during this training camp. And that's what you do. And so, I think it was a good eye-opener for the defensive side of the ball to go through that practice. And I'm sure that next week they'll have the chip on their shoulder again going against the Browns offense. But, I mean, just the level of competition's different. And I think what's helping this Browns defense, though, is these young skill players and how good they are. Quinshon Judkins got banged up this week. Now, Todd Monken claims it's completely unrelated to what happened earlier this week in practice when he got blown up, which I firmly believe was in retaliation for Quinshon blowing up Mike Hall Jr. earlier. Everyone will deny it, but that's what I think really happened. I know that hit that Quinshon had on Mike Hall was not well received by the defense. And Mike Hall was out of practice for a good stretch here. Now he's back and he looks great when he's out there, and he was off to a great start to camp to begin with. And, Todd Monken has stressed that, this stuff isn't malicious. It's just the competitive juices and whatnot. And he doesn't see, any problems, behind the scenes or whatever, but these guys are competitors, and it was funny listening to Grant Delpit before practice making the joke about how they hate, Quinshon. Obviously, they don't hate Quinshon, but Delpit having a little fun with it, and he's like, "Oh, please don't run with that because then that becomes a thing." But I understood the context with what he was saying. You know, when they're between the white lines, it's their job to not like any of the offensive players. It's their job to stop those guys, and vice versa. It's the offense's job to get after the defense. I mean, that's what the sport is about. It is competitive, and the juices get going, and you're gonna have disagreements, we'll call them, in practice or whatever. And that's probably one of the things I really liked most about yesterday's practice is they got good work in against each other as teams. They did a lot of trash talking, but they didn't, as Todd Monken talked about, they didn't cross any lines. And, we're not sitting here talking about all the fights that took place. We're talking about tangible things that happened in a practice where the Bills came into town. They got some good work in for them to prepare them for their upcoming season. And the Browns did a lot of really good things yesterday that are going to help them prepare for their season.
Daryl, have you changed your mind about the offense or the defense so far since they convened at training camp?
No. I think that, if anything, Anthony, a lot of my thoughts going into camp are being validated on a day-to-day basis. I really love this young core skill group offensively, and that's been validated. I think the Browns defense, I don't think that they're taking a tremendous step back without Myles Garrett. Yes, you're not replacing that guy, but Jared Verse is a nice substitute, and they're still getting the pressure and, getting after it. I still have some questions about the offensive line and their ability to gel and grow together here. It's a whole, new starting five. I still have questions about the depth of the team, and we've seen the depth of the team has been challenged. My opinion of the team really on either side of the ball hasn't changed. If anything, it's been validated. Even yesterday's practice, validated a lot of things that I thought, and against a Bills team that they're thought to be Super Bowl contenders, right? So, yes, the quarterback's a major problem for the Browns. But when you take a step away from that situation and you look at the Browns team as a whole, they're in really good shape. They've got a lot of great young players on both sides of the ball. And I think Browns fan is going to really enjoy watching these guys this year.
The dangerous one, Daryl Ryder, with us on the show. Do you think the fans are going to boo Deshaun Watson tomorrow?
You really put me in a pickle there on that one.
Well, it's just a question. Do you think they're going to boo him?
But that's also a very sensitive subject, I think. Deshaun earlier this week said he didn't care, and I don't believe that one.
I don't believe him either. Yeah,
I believe he does care.
Mm-hmm.
And look, all the other stuff, let's just set that aside. Just from a pure football player standpoint, you have to really respect the work that Deshaun has put in to get himself back in a position to where he could start again for the Browns. He could have just pocketed the money instead of doing all the rehab. He didn't have to get himself in a position to where they had to open the 21-day practice window for him last year late in the season, right? From that standpoint, certainly respect and commend all the work and the effort that Deshaun has put in. Do I think there's going to be some boos tomorrow? If he plays bad, absolutely. If it doesn't go well in the third quarter against the third and fourth stringers of the Bills, absolutely, I could see the crowd turning against him. But if he goes out and he plays well and completes some passes and maybe a touchdown or something like that, some scoring drives, I think the fans will cheer. The Browns fan are just like any other fan base. Okay, they have short-term memories when it comes to the misdeeds, if you will. As long as you go out there and win and you play well. So if he plays well, he'll get cheers. If he doesn't play well, he'll get the other end.
All right, Daryl. Blessings to you. We will see you tomorrow.
I feel terrible now that I forgot that Bernie actually got to practice in that facility, which I still think is built on top of some ancient Indian burial ground and is cursed. But
the stadium that they play in is technically built on top of an old landfill from 100 years ago.
So. Insert many a joke there too, right?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Daryl, thank you very much for the time.
You bet, guys. Have yourselves a great weekend. Enjoy the preseason game tomorrow.
Thank you very much. I will. Daryl Ryder on the show. Who's he brought to you by again, Owen?
Shibe & Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Now we got Zagura at 9. I want to get his perspective on things because he's kind of has a crow's nest view of everything when he's watching. Also, we have the Fan 15 VIP experience. And piggybacking off what Daryl just said, I just think it's not that I think you're not loud. It's not that I think you don't love your Browns. I just think you're a different animal in September as compared to August. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. Take us with you to work in the free Odyssey app.
It's already been a scorcher of a summer, but just because it's hot outside doesn't mean you have to be hot inside. The smartest thing you can do to keep your home cool and your electric bill lower is better insulation from you.
15 years. I just haven't seen anything like that. To me, it's a lot of kids, a lot of toddlers, a lot of parents that you go as families. Like, all right, I got season tickets. I'll take the family, but you know what? When kickoff happens, it's going to be me and Gary and Mike, and we're all going. We're going to have a good time, right? I don't think that people are going to go through the hassle because you really don't in the first place. That's why there's 10,000 to 15,000 people in the stadium of getting in the car, driving downtown, paying to park, going into the stadium. Oh, well, wait a minute. We got to get a clear bag. All right, Cheryl, you got to go back. You got to dump that stuff out. You got to get your clear bag. You forgot your clear bag. All right, we got to go. Well, now Tim has to use the bathroom. All right, I got to find a porta-can around here. Maybe we can dip in the Dunkin' Donuts on East 9th and use that. Well, why do we park so far away? Because I want to. All right, well, this is just a preseason game. It's supposed to be a Saturday, Cheryl. I'm sorry. I thought we would have fun as a family, okay? You end up yelling more at Cheryl than you do at your own thing. At the own game. Because it's the third quarter, you take the kids to the bathroom, you go get a hot dog, you complain about the price of it. Cheryl won't shut the hell up. She's texting her friends, she's texting her divorce lawyer. It's always a mind-sucking thing every single time I take the family out. And then
after you drink too much, you nap too much.
Maybe.
Cheryl is what you mean?
Deshaun Watson goes out there, and that is the crux of your frustration. So maybe you want to boo Cheryl, you end up booing Deshaun Watson. But if it is a good time.
Who do you follow on Instagram again?
If it is a good time.
Enough, Cheryl. Enough.
Her name's Cheryl that says that.
And if Cheryl's amenable.
Gotta get up for my long run.
And Mark's amenable. And the kiddos are having a good time. Am I really going to sit in the lower bowl and stand up in front of my kids and boo the guy as he goes on the field? I think some will. I just don't think it's going to be a chorus of the entire stadium.
Unless Cheryl's the one doing it. Unless she's the one that goes, we got to get down there, bribe the usher, get down to the front row right behind the bench.
Because most of you are saying, guys, we just want to move on from this guy. We're just done with this guy. It's a bad memory. And frankly, I've told you a million times over the last year, I'm with you. I'm ready to move on to a new era as well. Most of the reason I wanted Shedeur Sanders to play so much. And I don't think that I think that some guys might think, I'm going to go and I'm going to boo his ass off and he's going to get it. He's going to hear it personally from me, Mark. I'm going to let him have it. And then you go, oh, God, it's Saturday morning. I got to get up, drive. But you know what? You know what? If he's playing week 3 and they're sucking up the room, I'll be at the game anyway, so I'm going to let him have it. But if they start out 1-1 and they beat Tampa Bay or something like that, they start off 2-0, which is not likely, but still, maybe that'll change. Maybe that'll change. I just don't think there's going to be 15,000 people there who make it their pilgrimage to go to a game, wait for the third quarter, and boo the guy. There will be some boos. It just won't be this. Somebody tweeted at me yesterday, Kenny, it's going to be deafening. You don't know Browns fan. I go, deafening? There's going to be 10,000 people in the stadium.
Well, and I don't think they're going to be showing Deshaun Watson on the Jumbotron a whole bunch.
No.
I think they know better than to do that. But, that conversation with Mary Kay yesterday, and it got played all day on our station and also permeated elsewhere. The aggregators got a hold of it.
Yeah, which sounded like a threat because you were sitting there talking about the level of service that he gets at the restaurants. And I go, well, he's going to be dealing with real Clevelanders now. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden I'm saying, Kenny, you got to aggregate it. I go, well, God, it sounds terrible.
Well, the whole thing about him being captain. And
that part.
And even, by the way, the afternoon show, like Jonathan didn't care. He's like, whatever. Some teams change their captains every week. Like, what's the big deal if you're a captain, if you're not a captain? Well, it does matter to the players. I do think it can be something that the players, and we're not in that locker room, Kenny. Like, obviously, we had audio from, the left tackle of yesterday, the Bills. And he was saying some nice things
Deion
about
Dawkins.
But he's not there every day. That doesn't matter if he thinks Deshaun Watson has a chance to be good again or knows anything about, his relationship with teammates or anything like that. In this case, we're not there every day, and I know everybody thinks Jerry Jeudy is a saboteur, and he's just dropping the Shedeur passes and not the Deshaun passes. But what about everybody else? Are they responding to Deshaun Watson? I even saw yesterday somebody tweeted us a video from last year with Dylan Gabriel coming off the field and having a discussion with Joe Flacco and Deshaun was there, and Deshaun was not in uniform, and he was trying to talk to them. And they're like, see, they don't respect Deshaun Watson at all. I'm like, I don't know. He put his hand out and dapped him and everything. Like, I think we're looking for things to justify our own thoughts.
And I also think that we don't want them to entertain the thought of bringing him back next year.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I think that we are doing that.
Yeah, if you ran that poll, it would be less than 2%.
And I feel the same way you guys do about that. I will full on tell you that. I'm with you 100% on that. I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to bring in somebody new. If it's Shedeur, keep Shedeur, fine. I'm ready to do that. But I think people are just tired of it. But I don't think that they're going to do. If it were September and we're getting ready to face the Carolina Panthers and we're 0-2 and he's looked like garbage and they're still going to start him, yep, let it ride, man. Let it ride. We're playing for keeps now. You want to boo him, you go right on ahead. You can boo him and go right on ahead in preseason, by the way. It's your right to boo. This is a free country. You paid your tickets. You go right on ahead. We've had that fight several times over the last decade, you and I. But I just don't think it's going to be worth it to you. To wake up on a Saturday in August and have all these other things and go to the preseason game in the middle of the day and then wait for the third quarter and then boo the guy. I just think you're going to be distracted by other things going on. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe they will shower down upon him at around 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. Do you think there's a chance I could be wrong?
I don't think it's going to be as bad as some people think.
Coming up at 9:45, coming in hot. Your chance to, just get it off your chest. We also have the Coming In hotline, which you can use on the free Odyssey app. Please keep your comments, 9:45. Please keep those comments within the boundaries of good taste. Coming up in 5 minutes, Nathan Zagura. I want to know some other things. Is Michael Coates Jr. going to make this team? The wide receiver core. Is there anybody that's a known name that is on the bubble in this wide receiver core? The offensive line, how's that going to shake out? How much gelling do they still need to do? Because it was a rough start last week against the Chicago Bears on the ground. And, yes, we will ask about the quarterbacks. The great Nathan Zagura in 5 minutes on The Fan.
All right, real estate market.
Monken immediately after the game. The official Browns postgame show is only on 92.3 The Fan. Training camp coverage powered by Expert Renovations and Consumer Tire. 92.3 The Fan.
It is time for the Connie and VIP access to the Fan 15 celebration. Kenny, walking the streets of Bay Village, South Central Bay, and people have been asking.
Keep getting in your business.
People have been asking about the Fan 15.
And talking about the guy.
And I've told them.
And her damn dad, Barry.
And I told Cheryl that September 3rd at Dave & Buster's, including a pair of reserved seats, buffet dinner, and a pair of power cards. Enter the word Overlord. OVERLORD. By the end of the hour.
Barry tries to overlord my life.
At 923thefan.com to get registered to win.
Biggest mistake of my life. Now I gotta take Cheryl to this damn preseason game.
Like you guys are
with
talking
these
about
kids I
somebody
didn't
else.
even want. Was rushed to the altar. She had a butt in the oven already. Oh my God! Oh, she didn't know. She wasn't able to get the packs right. Now here we are. Got 3 kids.
It's like a familiar story from Cheryl.
You run into Cheryl.
Just couldn't go over to the gas station to get the Magnum condoms. And here we are. And I'm going to take it out on Deshaun in the 3rd quarter.
I know it's a
You
made-up
bet
story
your
after
ass
that.
on that.
Like we'd be
Well,
allowed,
I had
like
to-
I'd be allowed to go to a game.
I had to embellish it somehow for him, didn't I?
Yeah.
Hello, Nathan.
What in the world is going on right now?
You don't talk about Magnum condoms on a Friday morning? Condoms on a Friday morning?
I mean, it sounded like you were in a hallway screaming to be heard on the microphone, and then all of a sudden, boom, there you are on the microphone, ranting and raving. No, I typically no, I do not, but thank you for asking.
There you go. Wise Heart Right, we make it right, called Car Right Hotline. That's the hotline that Nathan Zagura is on. He joins us right now. It's time for serious football talk. No, I was just doing impressions of people. It was all a figment of my imagination of a friend of mine who's going to show up to boo in the 3rd quarter. That friend, I've tried to protect their identity some way, somehow. Anywho, Nathan, what did you think of the joint practice yesterday and the performance of the 2 quarterbacks? Because we've heard your play-by-play of it, and Andrews as well. Several on the internet, they have problems with it, whether or not you felt one way or the other about either quarterbacks. Go ahead and explain, please. Did I lose him?
I thought it was a very good practice. I thought that the Browns certainly looked like they belonged on the field with the Buffalo Bills, who are a team that was won a playoff game. They have the longest streak of winning a playoff game every year in the league. I think it's 6 seasons now. They've got the MVP in Josh Allen. And I thought when the Browns had the football, it was a good day for the quarterbacks. I thought that Deshaun Watson early was ripping it, had a great ball down the seam to Casey Concepcion. And that's what we needed to see. He's been very good kind of in the quick game when that first read's there, in rhythm, all of those things. But we hadn't really seen him be pushing the ball down the field. I thought he made a couple of good throws down the field. Now he had the bad one, obviously, in the red zone. That was a bad interception, and that's got to be cleaned up. That's not acceptable because when you're down there, you've got to come away with points. Can't turn the football over like that. But I thought, all in all, very good day for Deshaun Watson. I thought the first half of it was as good a practice as he had with the Browns in quite some time, especially going, obviously, with it against another team, the Buffalo Bills. I thought for Shedeur Sanders, also a very good practice. Made some big-time throws. He had one over the middle to Malachi Corley that was just a tight window throw that he got it in before the linebacker could get over, and Corley may have been able to race into the end zone there. I know there's a lot of fights over the quarterback tracker right now, but I thought both had a good day. One of the things I said on Training Camp Insider, which apparently people didn't watch, which you should, with the Hoff on there, is that it is clear to me that over the course of 1 year, Shedeur Sanders has grown incredibly as a quarterback. And I think a lot of credit, obviously, to Todd Monken and to Mike Pajakian, because I think it's really easy to see this year, and obviously to Shedeur himself for the work he's put in. He's so much calmer in the pocket, so much more poised in the pocket. He's seeing things better. We know he's a great deep ball thrower, but he just I think looks like a completely different quarterback. Now, both quarterbacks really like this offense. Another thing that is cool about this offense is really when they go in, every play call is kind of 2 plays. And so the quarterbacks have an opportunity to check. And one of the things that we saw in that practice, and this isn't something that can be picked up in a quarterback tracker or any of it, but both of them did a good job at various points in checking into other things and using their cadence. Shedeur used his cadence to get a free play, which he hit down onto Isaiah Bond and drew about a 40-yard pass interference penalty. Deshaun, on the last drive when they did the move the ball period, had the 2 plays, saw 2 high safety, checked into a run, which Dylan Sampson, now they said that was a 9-yard run. That was a 50-yard run, which was crazy that they blew him dead there with when a guy got a finger on him. But again, you're not tackling the ground, so you really don't know. But those are the things. Both of these guys I thought had really good moments, and I thought offensively it was a very positive day for the Browns. Your young receivers continued to impress. I thought Dylan Sampson looked great with no Quinshawn Judkins. Rocket Sanders had some nice runs and looked pretty good as what I think is going to be the 3rd running back for your Browns this year. And then the other one, which was something that, was certainly an area of concern coming out of the Bears game, the offensive line had a very good day against the Buffalo Bills. A very good day. And I thought that was encouraging. And then last note for the quarterbacks, that Bills team last year, and everything's different year to year, but last year was the number 1 pass defense in the NFL, and I thought both quarterbacks were able to make plays, so that was good.
Nathan Zegura, who was there yesterday with an unbelievably epic breakdown. Fair and balanced, by the way, I must say.
Oh, it was wonderful.
For people to take shots at any of your reportage when you are playing it right down the middle.
He's telling the truth, and I already saw the video that we posted, so I know I'm going to get absolutely drugged through the internet there. Again, if you have a problem with that, with what Nathan has said, it is your problem. You do not want to see the truth. He cannot help you. I'll speak for Nathan. He cannot help you with reality.
So with that said, Nathan, when you were extolling the virtues of how far along Shedeur Sanders has come, I think people are going to hear that and go, well, then what are we doing? Why hasn't he been named the starting quarterback? Why isn't he going to be the guy? Do you think this race is over? Is there anything Shedeur can do coming up on Saturday to propel himself into the starting role?
I certainly do not think it's over, and I spent a lot of time with Todd Monken on Tuesday, doing our interview for the Todd Monken Show, which I would urge everybody to make sure you check out. It is, he told you exactly how the reps were going to go this week. Last week, he told you exactly how the game plan was going to go in terms of the quarterback that Deshaun would play half. So he is not afraid to make a little news on his own radio show, which is awesome. But, I got to spend time with him in terms of the interview as well. And no, this quarterback race is open. I think that he likes both of them. Now, people would say, and I'm kind of the opinion, if it's close, go with Shedeur. He's a 5th rounder. He's under contract. He's a young guy. You can see it. But I think that it is still up in the air. But at the same time, I think that there are certain things that Deshaun Watson is doing better than Shedeur Sanders. And I think that gives Todd Monken some comfort. If that is the direction they go, and I alluded to some of it, the pre-snap checks, making sure you're getting into the right play. Those are things that we don't see. Those are things that a quarterback tracker doesn't tell you. And again, going into being a quarterback is a lot more than just his time on the field. I think Shedeur Sanders has made huge strides, and I think that the Browns would be very comfortable rolling him out there week 1 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think that certainly is still in play, and we'll just have to see how it plays out with these two. I think that they both come a long way since they got here with Todd Monken. And I think that has been the thing from a Browns perspective. That should be the most exciting. At the end of the day, I want to see the Browns win. And I don't care who the quarterback is that helps the Browns win. I think everybody who's a Browns fan should feel that way. Let's just get the guy that helps us win. And here's the other thing. No matter who starts week 1, they're only going to start all season if the Browns are winning. So that would be a wonderful thing. We'll find out who that is when Todd Monken makes up his mind. But at the end of the day, for Browns fans, this should be about winning football games and really nothing else.
Nathan Zegura joining us on the show. Nathan, you are a lover of wide receivers. What tells you that Denzel Boston and KC Concepcion will be great in the regular season against number ones, against NFL defenses, and not just because, hey, they're way better than anything we've had over the last few years?
Yeah, Casey Concepcion is a special route runner, and we're really starting to see that, and he's not afraid of catching the football in traffic. We saw that yesterday on the seam ball from Deshaun, which was one of the highlights of the day. He is very difficult to get on the ground. He's got incredible contact balance, so you can use him in the short areas and get big plays out of it. So Casey Concepcion, somebody that can, from a coach standpoint, and one thing that Todd Monken likes about him so much is that contact balance and the fact that he can get him the football and he can make plays anywhere. He's a great route runner. They can use him all around the formations. He's a smart player and has done a very good job of picking up all three wide receiver positions. Now with Denzel Boston, it's just so apparent that he knows how to use his size. He plays big. And so when we use a lot of, and we will with Todd Monken, a lot of what we call 3-by-1 formation. So it's 3 receivers to one side or 2 receivers and a tight end to one side, and then you single up your X receiver on the backside. That gives you coverage tells pre-snap, and it also gives you an opportunity in most cases to get a one-on-one on that backside. And if you watch our tape from this joint practice, go even back into the game on the opening drive, or maybe it was the second drive against Chicago when they still had some of their players out there. In those 3-by-1s on third down, the ball's going to Denzel Boston, and he is winning. You watch in our move the ball periods, and this one, the 2-minute drive where Shedeur gets the Browns down to the 11-yard line, when it's third down and they need it, it's Denzel Boston. So these guys can help you in the red zone. He's going to help you move the sticks. He can run vertically. He plays big. He can high points the ball very well, and he doesn't drop the ball. So I think you see both of these guys being immediate impact players. I think both of them have the opportunity to be the number one receiver this year, and I think they will end up being, our top 2 receivers when it's all said and done this season.
Nathan, you got people really excited when you talked about that offensive line, because we were very nervous based on what we saw against the Bears, against a lot of their second teamers. And in this case, you're going up against a legit defense, and you're holding your own, and your rookie Infano is handling business. What did you see there? Is it time to get truly excited about nailing that pick and watching this offensive line gel?
I hope so. I mean, Spencer Fano, I think, yes. I think Browns fans can be excited about that. He has drawn a lot of praise from a lot of people that he, not only going against and handling Bradley Chubb as well as he did in this joint practice, but, the Hoff's gotten to spend a lot of time with him in the meeting rooms, on the field, and he is very excited about Spencer Fano. So I think that you see it. He's got the respect of everybody. He's got the respect of his head coach. He's got the respect, certainly, of Jared Verse, who he's been battling with, and iron sharpening iron there all offseason. So that has been good. I think, yes, that's very exciting. This was a very good day for the Browns offensive line against the Bills, and it's a good front. It was the first time the Browns have seen kind of, a 3-4 front as well, but I was very encouraged. You finally had everybody out there. You had Titus Howard at right tackle. You had Elton Jenkins at center. Tevin Jenkins had a nice day at right guard. And then Zion Johnson and Spencer on the left side. It was good. We have not had a lot of room in the run game. With Quinshawn at the beginning of that game against the Jets, against the Bears, it was so familiar, right? It was like last year, he's getting hit behind the line of scrimmage on half the carries. So I'm encouraged. I'm not ready to say this offensive line is going to be dominant or harken back to some of the great Browns offensive lines just yet. But this was certainly an encouraging step in the right direction.
Nathan, how bizarre was it to see that Daquan Wright is entering the transfer portal when he's in camp with the Browns?
Yeah, it certainly was. And, and we hadn't seen him, at least I hadn't seen him in a couple of days, so maybe they knew that this was coming. But, yeah, that was very bizarre. And then another guy who was with us, I think it's TJ Yeldon, I think was his name, who was with us earlier in camp, then ends up in camp with the Super Bowl champions, the Seattle Seahawks, and he leaves them as well to go back to college. So just kind of a strange thing that happened, that you've got guys. And by the way, doesn't that tell you how different college football is, and NIL and all of those things, that guys would leave NFL camps to go back and play in college football another year?
Well, yeah. I mean, instead of making practice squad money, what is it, $80,000 a year, which is a fine paycheck, don't get me wrong. I mean, you could still make $1 million, whatever they got left.
Better than that now, but yeah, totally.
Yeah, how much? Well, I got to look that up. I'm not familiar with the CBA. It's still a nice living.
And $80,000 now for a legit starter in college football in one of the powerhouses. I mean, there's no comparison. So, given that opportunity, especially if you felt like you were on the fringe or had a chance to get cut, I get it.
Oh, my goodness. It says this. Now, this is just an AI overview.
I think it's like around 200, maybe it's around 200.
247.5.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew it was a lot higher than it used to be. Yeah, it is not a bad gig at all.
Not bad at all.
Do they provide corporate housing?
You know, we don't need to get into that.
You get a lease deal on a vehicle.
And Nathan with us on the show. All right, what do you want to see out of everybody tomorrow?
Free food at the facility.
Well, with Shedeur, I want to see him, operate well in terms of no pre-snap issues. I want to see him, hang in the pocket the way he does and be on time and in rhythm. The splash plays, I love his ability to hit splash plays, and he does that very consistently. I want to see the good in-rhythm throws, the good stuff kind of where it's the first reads open, balls out on time. And if he does that, that will be great. I think he's going to have some of his young receivers out there with him, so they should have an advantage if they are going against the backups of the Buffalo Bills. So I just want to see a good productive day there. You want to see your offensive line. Now, this time we won't have the veterans out there, is my guess, but you want to see that line continue to provide some running lanes for this team and provide good pockets. That was the other part of it. The pass pro yesterday was excellent. I mean, to hit some of the plays that the Browns hit in offense, they were able to do it because they had good pockets to operate from. So that was all very encouraging. I'd like to continue to see that. And then Andre Schmidt continue to stay hot as he has been. He has not missed a kick for the Cleveland Browns going back to the game in New England, which was in the first half of the season. So he has been excellent, and you want to see that keep going as well. Defensively, we need to see these young corners. Michael Coates has made a name for himself. We need to see him continue. And the defensive line now, I haven't gotten an update personally. I don't know if you guys have seen one on Alex Wright, but you certainly hope that is not significant. But an already thin kind of defensive end room where they've been looking to add a veteran even while Alex Wright was healthy. If he's a miss anytime, you're going to need somebody to step up there. Corday Sidner is somebody that the team is a little bit excited about, so you want to see him have a nice day and give you some confidence there as well.
Nathan, thank you for the time. We'll talk to you tomorrow. All the best.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Nathan Zagura, Browns color commentator on the Browns Radio Network, joining us on the Wise Heart Right, We Make It Right, Call Kyle Right hotline. Love what he had to say. Just a lot of common sense about where this thing would go. And it's weird. I got three guys here. Well, I got the whole show, but on the air during that, three guys who were like, yeah, we want to see Shedeur. But we're willing to accept the truth. It's difficult to say, but it's true. Coming up at 9:45, coming in hot, your chance to, tell us what you think. Please keep your comments within the boundaries of good taste. Or do an impression of me being fat. Whatever you want to do, it's your call. Coming up in 5 minutes, are you focused on the future, or are you watching this guy to see what we might have missed out on? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app. If you're already at work, well, watch us for free live on YouTube.
Thomas Jefferson tried them. Rent too high? We've been arguing about that for a while. Each episode is proof. The past isn't that far away. Listen to History This Week, available now on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
As the kids get back to school, get back to the football news you need. The radio home of the NFL in Cleveland Browns is 92.3 The Fan.
This quarterback race is open. I think that he likes both of them. If it's close, go with Shedeur. He's the 5th rounder. He's under contract. He's a young guy. You can see it. I think that it is still up in the air, but at the same time, I think that there are certain things that Deshaun Watson is doing better than Shedeur Sanders, and I think that that gives Todd Monken some comfort. If that is the direction they go.
That's Nathan Zegura with us talking about the quarterbacks, obviously, and then what were you going to say?
It's not over. Says this thing is not over. He's been privy to some conversations with the coach.
That's good.
And so, all the people saying this has been a sabotage.
Now I have to ask, you doing that just because you want to make sure people compete?
Trying to make sure to get the
I don't think so.
Get their full attention. I imagine Shedeur is playing his butt off no matter what.
I'd be pretty surprised, but I'd be pretty elated if they made Shedeur QB1 for week 1 of the NFL season.
What a switcheroo.
I'd be pretty excited.
What a switcheroo. We'd be going nuts.
Owen and I were just having a fight. Can I say this on the air about the game or no? Or is it just the general scenario? 3-5-3 defense?
Yeah, well, I'm putting the charts together for this big showdown tonight in Lakewood between St. Ed's and Olentangy Liberty, a rematch of the state semifinals from 2024.
Maybe this is ego playing in. Owen said you do what?
Well, I'm an air raid offense. So
You
I'm
are.
spreading it wide, and we're running at least 3 deep.
Dude, he passed
Probably
all
have
over.
some crossing routes.
He passed all over my ass in the shoe, man. It was frustrating. It was frustrating.
You got to have a good blitz.
I had one. Your quarterback was really good. You can blitz a good quarterback all day long. They blitz Mahomes' ass off all day long. What are you going to do? I can't just let him stand back there and throw it. Now, can I? That's what sucks about playing a good quarterback. Now, this is an ego play, but I got to admit, I will trap and gap, and I will run ISO all day long. To me, a 3-man front ain't about football. It's about being a man. This is bigger than football, man. It's bigger than football, which might play into it because Owen's like, well, I'm just going to say, I'm like, you send your linebackers. That's fine. You only got 3 backs, man. You only got 3 DBs back there. Eventually, I'll make you bite. I'll get you to bite. Playing long game.
Probably a reason I call offense and you call defense.
Why are we here nitty gritty?
Good point. Because it's between us. It's just between us, between 2 football guys having a conversation. I was bested that day.
It is crazy.
And forever.
It is crazy to see the difference in high school football.
It is crazy
today.
You just tweeted at me during this conversation. We're 2 microphones away from being a good radio show. All right, go ahead.
The difference in watching offenses today than 20, 25 years ago, it just doesn't even look the same. I know they say the same in basketball with kids just pulling up from NBA range or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the amount of high school coaches who think their kids can throw the football all over the place. It is totally different.
Well, you do see that, and I do think it's cost some high school. Go ahead and do the Connie real quick.
Yeah, we have our Fan Cash Fridays powered by Fanatics Sportsbook, as always, America's fastest growing sportsbook. Right now, 10th caller, 92.3 The Fan contest line, your chance to win $100 in Fan Cash from Fanatics Sportsbook. We do this every Friday. Winning hits different here.
I think it's the same when it goes to youth, when it goes to high school. Well, youth is different because you're trying to get guys ready to run the
Yeah, you got to
high school.
You obviously have to have somebody with the ability to do that.
Yeah, but if you're a high school coach, like when I grew up, it was wing tee. This is the bread and butter. We also had 300-pound linemen from Stark County because half of our town was farms.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big town, but it's when you have guys who are really now going, 230, 220, you can move quick. If you got athletes that can get them out in space like you do, it's an open enrollment area. Like, it'd be one of the things I'm asking. Like, can you adjust to the type of players you have? Because I can try to run a spread all I want, but if I don't have the guy to get it there, then we're going to lose a lot of football games that we could have won because I will not adjust to my talent. and that's going to be a short-lived job tenure
But you
for me.
know, all these high school coaches are going to these summer camps, these passing camps,
fine.
and they're
fine.
like, wow, we could just go shotgun, and it's like
that's one of the
how
things.
many high school teams could get away with that?
And Owen knows it too, and I know it, and anybody worth their salt knows it. Like, hey man, I could get you a collection of plays and have all the stuff that's online and all that crap. And yeah, I follow some of those guys too, the play a day guys and the Coach Dan and all that stuff. But it's like, if Owen's seriously, 2 years ago, if Owen didn't have a QB to do it, he'd do it differently. I know that. He's got common sense. He's not stupid. He had a quarterback and athletes who could do it. He put it on my ass. It was tough. Tough pill to swallow. That's part of it. But yeah, man, when it comes down to it, if I got the Hogs up front, you give me a 3-man front, you could meet me in the B gap.
And we're just running goal line the whole time.
I guess so. I'm going to get my first downs, and I'm going to have a 10-minute drive. We'll win this thing 10-0. 216-474-0092. There's apparently no Mendoza audio. I thought there was something of him saying something.
All right, so he threw
an 80-something yard pick six yesterday.
Yeah, he threw a pick six, was late, drifted, a rookie mistake in every sense of the word, threw it late, got picked off over the middle of the field. That brought out the Shador fan base going, whoa, 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 whoa.
Well, I'm not even thinking. Wait a minute. I wasn't even thinking about them. I wasn't even thinking about them. Now that's fine. Whatever.
Well,
right?
they're doing this with Jackson
You might
Dart.
not have been thinking about them, but someone else in that room.
Here's what's happening.
is only thinking about
I want to fill people in who aren't eternally online, but ever since Shador got on the Browns, there has been this effort from the Shador fans that no quarterback after Shador can possibly be good. Not any of them drafted in that draft, not any of them drafted in this draft. They can't believe that Fernando Mendoza won a Heisman and won a national championship. They feel it was everything else but Fernando Mendoza.
Mm-hmm.
It was the running game. It was the coach. It was
I understand
the talent.
that, but like I ran and raved about earlier this week. Like I can't. That's 3% of the actual people. I can't reach those people. When I saw the person, when you sent me the picture of the screenshot of the person who basically said that Todd Monken risks eternal damnation for starting Deshaun Watson this season if he doesn't start Shador Sanders.
That would make me think twice.
That's honestly when I said enough's enough.
If the afterlife is on the line, I may favorite Shador in the quarterback competition. I'm just saying. I'm human.
You don't know
after
what
all.
St. Peter's going to say to you. You have no idea. You can get up there and you go, I ain't control anything. How dare you not start the better quarter? You have no idea what he's going to say. I mean, he might be a very practical person.
Might.
Go up there, he's got the big ledger. You go, well, you got one guy who's able to get him out, in and out of the huddle. You got one guy fumbling the snap. May or may not have known the snap. I mean, which what do you got? Really? This is what you chose? Bye-bye. Pulls the lever. Down you go.
But then you got a wide receiver, may have made a deal with you-know-who down there, and now he's dropping all the balls.
That's for them to figure out. I can only go one soul at a time. But no, I'm actually focused on a different part of the audience. Because I said, and I have to post this because some people have taken this the wrong way, is when I say, I question when people say, well, we're a quarterback away. And I go, you're a quarterback away from what? You're a quarterback away from what? From being on the right track, being taken seriously? Like Mendoza, it feels like the Raiders, they were a quarterback away. They get Mendoza. Now you're on the right track. But you still got to you saw that team last year. They had nothing except for Max Crosby, and they tried to trade him away this year. So you had a team that had nothing. They get the first overall pick. Now they have Fernando Mendoza. Now it takes more off seasons to go out and help that guy. You have to cultivate that. And I look at the Browns. The Browns are in an advantageous spot if you're thinking about the future. Okay? Because you got guys that I'm excited about that you guys are excited about, with all the usual suspects that we say, and maybe even some guys that we don't talk about that much. And so if I take these guys and I have them now in year 1 this year or year 2 this year, they're going to be in year 3 next year. They make life easier on the rookie quarterback. They're going to be in year 4 the year after that. You're going to have to sign them. They make life easier on the second-year quarterback and then on the rookies coming in. So when we talk about your quarterback away, yeah, you can have a quarterback and you could have a nice run. C.J. Stroud, Jaden Daniels. You can do that, but you have to cultivate. You have to be able to support him. So when we say a quarterback away from being taken seriously again, being on the right track, I'm with you. From competing, from really being a year in, year out competitive football team, you got to support that guy. It's going to take a couple of more drafts. It's going to take a couple of more off seasons. And I think some folks look at Fernando Mendoza, and maybe it's true. If we would have lost these last 2 games of last season, you'd have Fernando Mendoza. Maybe you would be in a better place. But I'm not going to start to badmouth Fernando Mendoza, who I think is going to be a good quarterback, a really good quarterback. I don't know how special he's going to be. I don't think he's going to be Mahomes or Allen. I think he's probably more in the category of, well, I can't say Trevor Lawrence because he was overrated coming out of college. Can I put him in the category of Herbert? Can I put him in there? Where it's like, hey, you're going to give yourself a chance, but there's going to be you're going to have to put guys around him. There's going to be a struggle. Like, I think he makes the right reads. Everybody can make all the throws, so that doesn't matter. Yeah. I think he's smart.
He's bigger than you think he is.
He is bigger than you think he is. Yes, that is totally true. But as of right now, I don't see Mahomes or Allen. It doesn't compute. But I think he's going to be a really good quarterback. You can, depending on how this year works out, you can get somebody better. Or this could be a hilarious sentence I just said 5 years from now. 216-474-0092. Coming up next, you know the number. That's why I just threw it out there. Coming in hot. Your chance to win big right now, though, with Tone. Go ahead, Tone.
AJ in Berea. How about $100? You pumped up going into the weekend with a hundo in your pocket?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Appreciate it.
AJ, you going to use that money, come down to the stadium, and maybe cheer our players instead of boo?
Yeah, actually, I'm taking 80 guys to the game this weekend for a group called the Daddy Stroller Club. So we're taking families,
The Daddy Stroller Club.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But leave the strollers at home.
Do we have enough stroller parking? At the new stadium, I bet we will. Holy potatoes.
All right, AJ, have a good time. Congratulations.
Congratulations, AJ.
All right, there he is.
I hope
AJ
you have a wonderful time.
Berea. And
with 79 others.
And he
2026 when my dad took me to the game in a stroller.
In a stroller. Outstanding. Go ahead and do that. Well, go ahead.
And AJ and his $100 brought to you by Fan Cash and powered by Fanatics Sportsbook. Each and every week we talk about Fan Cash, and there is a reason, because users are being able to pocket that Fan Cash and stack it week after week, day after day, because you're going to get 10% Fan Cash back on your wagers, win or lose. And you can unlock the world of Fanatics with unlimited profit boosts, exclusive merch, collectibles, game tickets, and so much more. That's why right now, new users are going to be greeted with an amazing experience and awesome promos thanks to Fanatics Sportsbook. That's why we say Fanatics is always going to give you more to play with. How about incredible opportunities, that exclusive merch? Who does apparel better than Fanatics? Not to mention those once-in-a-lifetime experiences from coast to coast. More and more people taking advantage. And so no matter what happens, when you download that app and place that first wager, you're going to be able to stack that Fan Cash, and you're going to be in good shape. You're going to be able to use it for college football and for professional football, and we're going to get started coming up soon. That's why you got to check it out and download the app today. Winning hits different here in Ohio. Must be 21 and older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Coming in hot, 216-474-0092. Please keep your comments within the boundaries of good taste. Coming in hot, 216-474-0092. Coming up next on The Fan.
92.3 The Fan.
ZipRecruiter.com/team.
ZipRecruiter. Get to the 92.3 The Fan YouTube channel to see daily Browns breakdowns with Darryl Ryder and Coach Lance Reisland.
This is head coach Todd Monken, and you're coming in hot.
Your flagship home for Cleveland Browns football, 92.3 The Fan. Coverage starts 1 o'clock tomorrow. Browns, Bills. Live from Huntington Bank Field. Shedeur Sanders, he will be starting. Deshaun Watson, he will be playing in the third quarter. Good times had by all. Hopefully. Tone? Owen? John, I can't see him. I assume he's ready. Are we ready for coming in hot? Are we ready? It's a radio show. You got to say something.
Let's go.
It's time for coming in hot.
All right, Cleveland, it's time to get whatever you want off your chest. Cleveland, you're coming in hot. The phone lines are open now.
Please keep your comments within the boundaries of good. Please keep your sound bites within the boundaries of good taste in there. Two 216-474-0092. Hello, you're coming in hot.
Calling Shedeur the check down king is honestly pretty disrespectful. The true check down king is Ken. He sends all his checks down to APAC.
I was going to let it go. I hear how that ended.
You know how it ended.
The world deserved to hear that.
Hello, you're coming in hot.
Hey, Ken, I've got an issue at work. My company loses $50 million a year, and they refuse to pay me what I'm worth. No matter how much we try to gaslight the masses into buying our product, it doesn't work. And considering you're a hack radio host, I figured you'd have a thing or two up your sleeve, brother.
Hello, you're coming in hot.
This is the Munchkin. Regardless of whether it's Wilson or Sanders this weekend, I believe we were in Cleveland. Repeat after me, Ken Anthony. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
Thank you for a call. Hello, you're coming in hot.
Hey, this is Teddy from Massachusetts. Hey, I would like to volunteer my services tomorrow and drive Cheryl to that game. I could take care of that problem for that fella, if you know what I mean.
Oh, hell. Hello, you're coming in hot.
Hey, boys, let me scratch that itch that you just can't get.
Okay.
It's third down.
Oh, he hung up. I thought he was going to complete it.
There had to be something there. Where's the material?
Aaron Rodgers' pass to DK Metcalf complete for 14 yards. 1st and 10 Steelers.
Those were the days. They ain't like that anymore. Defense is going to be good this year, right? As long as they stay healthy. That Alex Wright
yesterday. Come on.
That Alex Wright injury. Hello, you're coming in hot.
Hello. I think I'm going to have the same reaction as Darryl Ryder when Deshaun Watson throws his first interception. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
What was that about again? That was Nate Shieldhouse. That was Nate Shieldhouse. They didn't know how to say. Nobody knew how to say his name.
Oh, baby.
So they were calling him Nate Steeplechase and everything.
Oh, yeah. You're preaching to the choir here.
Hello, you're coming in hot. Now, that's all he did this time.
Oh, you know the train's coming.
Not even a lie. You better get off the tracks, buddy boy. Hello, you're coming in hot. I hit the wrong one.
Ken Lima, this is St. Peter. I did want to call in and confirm that if Todd Monken does start Deshaun Watson, he will in fact not be getting into heaven. And neither will you, Ken.
Why?
What about me?
Ken, you know why? You
What?
have all of the. You are a member of all of the deadly sins: gluttony, pride. You have them all. Go to church this Sunday, Ken, and maybe we'll help you out.
What about sloth?
Sloth. That's.
I'm
my
not
favorite
lazy.
That's always been
I'm
my
not
favorite.
lazy.
one. Envy.
Yeah.
The rest. Cheeseburgers, I think, is one.
Yeah. Hello, you're coming in hot.
Deshaun Watson's NES character is Kirby because he sucks up the room.
We can take two more. Hello, you're coming in hot.
Why do you suppose I threw my chair at you, John? Are you a rusher or are you a dragger? Or are you going to make love to my wife on my time?
Hello, you're coming in hot. You are coming in hot. Hello.
Super Bowl, Super Brown.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
brother.
the team I root for.
Well done. Well said. Hello, you're coming in hot.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Ken Carman's ding dong when he loses the weight.
That's funny. That was a good one.
That was good. That was good.
Thanks to Sal Capaccio. He sounds like a drink at Starbucks. Thanks to Daryl Ryder. Acts like a drink at Starbucks.
Yeah.
Thanks to Nathan Zagura. Fine guy. I got nothing to say there. On the Wise Heart Right, We Make a Right, Call Kyle Right hotline. Outstanding today. We're back Monday, 6 to 10. Will we have a quarterback by this time on Monday? Tone.
I believe we will have it maybe even Sunday night.
Ooh.
It leaked
All right.
Sunday night, maybe.
Make sure you're listening. Monday morning, 6 a.m. for Big Country, for Jeff, for John, for... Ooh, his workouts have been pretty good lately. John's workouts have been. Talking about him earlier today. Doing well over there. For the Slippery Wizard, Anthony Lima, I'm Ken Carman. Have a wonderful Tall Boy Friday, my friends.